Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Mohegan Sun Arena. We'll begin with an amateur contest sanctioned by USA Boxing of Connecticut. This bout scheduled for 3 two-minute rounds in the 141-pound female novice division. The judges here in this bout are Sax Medina, Luis Soto, and Angel Morales. At the sound of the bell, the referee in charge of the action is Robert Perez. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner from Whitley Boxing, please welcome Taylor Smith. Her opponent across the ring, boxing out of the red corner, representing Hartford Boxing, please welcome Deborah Basora.
Tell Mark, okay? That Ron Cat's doing color for the
Tell yourself at all time.
This is Randy Gordon, the commission. Randy G, they call me.
Stay back. When I say you pray, you pray. Shake hand. Good luck. Neutral corner.
And here we go for this amateur bout. Randy G, joined by the matchmaker of this whole card, Ron Katz. Hey, Ron. Good seeing you, buddy.
How you doing, Randy?
Good. Here we go for some 3-round action between females. Taylor Smith and Deborah Basora. Basora in the red trunks, Taylor Smith in the blue. You see they're both right-handers trying to set up the jabs.
All right, that's good like that.
Both of them using those jabs. Taylor Smith a little bit taller, but just pawing out with that left jab, fighting a little bit more defensively. Basora putting the pressure on. Remember, these are 2-minute rounds. We've got about 50 seconds to go in the opening round, scheduled for 3. Taylor Smith trying to keep this in the center of the ring. This is a big ring, around 20 feet inside the ropes. Taylor Smith, blue trunks, Deborah Basora in the red.
Now, Basora's putting some good pressure on her, though, Randy. You know, working in behind that jab. Smith moving side to side, trying to control the distance. Not having a lot of success. Nice contrast of styles.
Final seconds, round number 1. This one's scheduled for 3.
Oh, that was a good look by Basora. Really nice shot. Smith
And
dug right into that.
Right, Basora first went downstairs to the body with the right hand and then took that left hand upstairs. To me, that looked like a pressure round that was successfully executed by Basora. I gave her that first round. Remember, this is scheduled for 3. Let's take a look at some of the action from round number 1.
Now you can see Basora putting the pressure on. Smith not having a lot of success keeping her off, and then that quick left hook by Basora landed right on the chin. Was a good shot. Probably carried the round for her.
You just looked into the corner of Taylor Smith, took a nice deep breath there.
And it's Derek Whitley, former pro fighter from the area up here.
Very controlled corner. A little adjustment of that head guard.
You know, they're not bad for amateurs. I mean, to be honest with you, Randy, I was never a fan of the female boxing, but
Get used to it.
old school, you know. But, you know, they showed some skill in there. They did pretty good.
And in a few weeks, Claressa Shields going to try to do her thing. Claressa Shields, the gold medalist in 2012. Wonder if either one of these girls are thinking maybe 2020 or something. And they are right at each other in round number 2.
These two must think it's a 1-minute round because they're coming out throwing punches and hard punches at each other.
I like that jab of Basora. She is snapping that out.
I like her composure in there. She seems real focused and has a pretty good idea of what she wants to do. Smith, on the other hand, does not. Seems a little in between styles. And Basora obviously is the stronger of the two.
Let's see what happens when they get in. The referee, Robert Perez, says break. They listen to him, step back. And Smith again tries to keep this in the center of the ring.
I got to be honest, you know, I've seen a lot of pro girls fight. These two girls ain't bad, you know. They have some skill in there. Equal to better to many of the pros that I've seen. And I like the way Basora is walking down Smith. Not wasting energy, trying to close the distance behind that jab.
And Smith starting to find her range with the jab, popping it out a little bit more, putting the right hand right behind it.
Hand over a lazy jab. Oh, good right hand by Basora.
About 20 seconds to go here in round number 2. This is a 3-round amateur bout. Females, 141 pounds.
Let him go. Step back clean.
Final 10 seconds of the round.
Oh, another good left-right by Basora. And then follows up with a jab and a really good right hand to the body. She knows what she's doing in there. Technically, she's pretty sound. She's moving her head a little bit, stepping a little to the side and firing punches, and Smith has no answer for her and has no idea what she's doing, and that's why she's getting tagged.
Well, on my scorecard unofficially, I've got it Basora 2 rounds to none. But let's just say the judges have it 1 round apiece. That means going into the 3rd and final round, it still could be anybody's fight.
It's pretty clear cut, though, you know, that Basora won the first 2 rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3rd and final round, round number 3, right now.
Basora seems like she is the more experienced of the 2 fighters.
And we looked into the corner of Taylor Smith. Very composed in that corner. Took some nice deep breaths. Here we go, round number 3, 3rd and final round.
If you're in Smith's corner, you have to tell her to start working behind the jab and back the other girl up, because Basora's had her way, controlled the distance, has been walking forward the whole fight. Smith just can't deal with her strength right now. It's the only shot she has.
A big swing and a miss with the right hand by Basora.
But if you notice, Smith's head is a little too high up in the air as she's moving to the right. And she seems to always move to the right, which Basora, I'm sure, has picked up on by now.
Here's that right hand again by Basora. She keeps seeing that chin up in the air, Ron, and aiming for it, but just keeps falling short.
She's had success with both hands. If she really can find the distance, she might do some real damage with the power shots. She's probing with the jab, trying to find that distance there. She just missed a good right hand.
That's 4 times she's missed that swinging, wild right hand. That left hand, though, gets in again.
Yeah.
That's the 2nd time she's landed a fairly decent hook.
Yeah, the right hand, she's just a little bit out of range. She needs to get a little bit closer, and maybe the trajectory of the right hand has to change a bit.
Final 30 seconds of this fight. Taylor Smith in the blue trunks, Deborah Basora in the red.
That was the first real good shot that Smith landed. Basora ducked to the right, and Smith came across with a left hook and caught her right on the chin.
Final seconds of the fight. Smith, I think, has fought a very good defensive fight for her, trying to move to her right, away from the right of Basora, who finally gets right in there with a right hand at the bell. The referee gets between them. They return to their corners, and it's now in the hands of 3 judges.
It was a nice fight, you know?
Well, that 3rd round, the action there was action in round 1 and round 2. Round number 3, Ron, it picked up all the way as Smith, I think, feeling that she was behind, she tried to start doing something, but Basora just kept pouring the pressure on.
Smith definitely had her best round. I don't know if it was enough to win the cards because Basora really didn't deviate from the strategy she had from bell 1, and that is to bore her way in, and use her strength to her advantage, and landed some crisp left hooks. Right hand, she was a little off target most of the time, but when it landed, you could tell it did damage. But it was a good fight.
Here we go. Let's go up to the ring announcer. Let's get this one made official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 exciting rounds here at Mohegan Sun Arena, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. Your winner by unanimous decision out of the red corner, Deborah Basora.
No question about it. Basora won the fight. As she was announced as the winner, Taylor Smith winced a little bit as if maybe she thought that she won, but Basora was the winner in an action-packed amateur fight. This is a pro-am card that Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing is putting on. This was an amateur 3-rounder, and what a way to for these girls to absolutely get their careers underway, their first fight. So here it was, Deborah Basora in the red trunks just put the pressure on continually. She ate some punches, but she landed much more than she ate. Deborah Basora winning a decision over a very tough in game, Taylor Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here at Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. More amateur action, sanctioned by USA Boxing of Connecticut. This bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds in the 141-pound men's open division. The judges for the bout are Sax Medina, Luis Soto, and Angel Morales. At the sound of the bell, the referee in charge of the action is Jason Concepcion. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner, representing Whitley Boxing, please welcome Denzel Whitley. His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, boxes out of the red corner. From Hartford Boxing, Sherrod Collier.
All right, protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. His belt's a little thick. Anything below there's no good. His is good. Anything on the belt's no good there. Any questions? Any questions? Touch him up.
It should be a good fight, Randy. I'm told both of these guys have some experience, 20-plus amateur fights. It should be a pretty good fight, Randy. I'm told both of these guys have pretty good amateur experience, 20-plus fights. They're fighting in the open division. Whitley comes from a fighting family.
Yes, he does, with the Whitley boys we've been talking about. Now, Denzel Whitley in the black top. He is their, younger brother?
He is the younger brother.
And his opponent in the red top is Sherrod Collins. Both of these
Collier,
guys,
Sherrod Collier, who I'm told is
Collier or Collins?
Collier. And right away you can see the hand speed of Collier. Whitley stayed pretty composed there. It's nice little counter left hook by Whitley.
Absolutely. He's working upstairs and downstairs. And
Good
it's powered
exchange
down.
right there. Both these guys know what they're doing, I'll tell you that right now, just watching the first 30-plus seconds of the fight. They've been well schooled, both guys.
This one is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds here at the Mohegan Sun Casino.
Both guys have pro styles, too, I'll tell you that right now. And they're throwing punches with bad intentions. Collier's got a nice quick jab, throws a right hand behind it. I'd like to see both guys move their head a little more than they are. They're leaving themselves vulnerable for a counter punch. Whitley is a little flat-footed in there.
And Whitley also carrying that left hand down by his waist, almost daring
But you can
Collier
see
to come after him.
each guy is trying to get the other guy to commit so they can counter.
Whitley jumped in with a combination, but Collier came right back with his own combination, his counter combination.
Whitley's a strong kid, and you can see he's more comfortable playing the part of the counter puncher, just like there. As Collier came in, ducked right into a little bit of an uppercut. Didn't get it all, but he got hit a little bit with it.
Remember, unlike the pros, if you see an amateur take a stiff shot, especially to the face with a jab or a right hand or a hook, one shot, he doesn't have to fall or anything, he just has to take a hard shot. The referee in many cases will step in and give him a standing 8 count.
Yes, you've seen that time and time again. But both guys, I tell you, once again, are very well schooled. Their punches are tight. Fundamentally, they're pretty sound.
So far, a pretty nice round for the man in the red top,
Well,
Denzel
you know what?
Whitley.
I might have to disagree. It's a pretty even round because Whitley has landed some pretty good counter shots.
Yes, he has.
And with power on it. Both guys are doing very good work. It's one of those rounds where depends what you like more.
I like the body work. Whitley has been committed to the body and the head, and he's landed several nice shots to the body with the left hook. Final seconds,
I mean, it's very
opening
fast
round.
moving round, too. Collier a little more busy, but a very, very good round for both kids.
So the crowd getting really warmed up here at the Mohegan Sun. And Ron, let's take a look at some of that action from round 1.
You can see both guys right in front of them, each other. Whitley looking to counter off the ropes as Collier came in with a combination. Both guys did work, and good work. There, Collier landed a nice little counter right hand.
On my unofficial scorecard, I'd give that a 10-9 round to the man you're looking at, Denzel Whitley.
Except that was Sean Collier that you were looking at, pal.
Whoops.
Sherrod Collier, I'm sorry. Collier is in the red corner, Whitley in the blue.
And here we go again. Denzel Whitley against Sherrod Collier. 3-minute round, 141-pound open division.
Very impressed with the counter punching of Whitley. Both guys have pretty good hand speed. I mean, this is a real tough fight to score right now because both guys are doing what they want to do. And both guys are scoring punches. Just depends who you like more, the amount of punches that Collier is fighting with or the harder punches that Whitley is throwing.
And all of a sudden,
Whitley
roles are reversed.
Whitley is stepping a little closer, trying to close the distance, trying to get Collier to think about what he's doing, take him a little off what he wants to do. But Collier's pulling straight back, which is dangerous. With his head back, if Whitley found the range of that, he can land a damaging punch. Good hand speed by Collier, though. This is where Whitley needs to close the distance. Maybe roll a little to the left and to the right, throw a left hook to the body and come back up top with a left hook to the head and a right hand, rather than try it and counter what Collier is going to do. There he got inside and did a little damage.
Now the judges get impressed with some of those shots. They weren't just little taps.
No, and he's
And they were
working.
scoring punches.
He's working. You know, a nice 1-2 by Collier, who repeats it. And he repeated it for a third time. Whitley needs to move his head out of the range of Collier's punches right now because his head is centered where Collier can do damage. If he can move his head a little to either side and come across with punches, he could be very effective. But Collier is taking advantage of it right now. Nice jab right hand to the body by Collier, who's keeping up a pretty steady work rate and taking the round thus far.
And again, Sherrod Collier is the one with the red top, black and white trunks. Denzel Whitley with the dark top and the gold trunks.
Whitley seems a little befuddled now by the hand speed of Collier. He's not as aggressive as he was earlier in the fight, and is allowing Collier to get off without answering. And it looks like his punches have slowed a bit. It's a good round for Collier. Connecticut, by the way, is one of the smaller amateur boxing association programs, but what's pretty impressive is that they sent 4 boxers to the Olympic trials this past year, which is a testament of the job the head of the Connecticut Association, Luis Rivera, is doing. They do a wonderful job up here.
Very nice. Let's take a look. Round number 2, Denzel Whitley and Sherrod Collier.
There it's obvious the hand speed coming off the jab and a right hand by Collier without Whitley returning. A left hook. And once again, Whitley seems a little befuddled by what Collier
Ladies
is
and
doing.
gentlemen, this is the third and final round, round number 3.
Here we go,
right
the third and
now.
final round, 3 3-minute rounds. This is it. Denzel Whitley against Sherrod Collier. Collier with that red top on. Whitley with the dark trunks. And Ron, I sense that he's, that sense of urgency that he's got to step on.
He really has to, but once again, he's allowing Collier to dictate the pace of the fight and control the distance. He needs to back Collier up, get in close and do damage. Good defense by Collier. That's where Whitley needs to get in right there, but he didn't take advantage of it. He's a little too high up. With his size and the reach advantage of Collier, he should get a little smaller and close that distance. Just like there, he tried. He did land the left hook to the body.
Whitley's about a half step, I think, behind. He starts to come in, and then Collier moves back and takes himself out of range.
Well, Whitley is definitely a little slower of foot. Collier has pretty good foot movement. Whitley is pretty stationary, as Collier does good work on the ropes without much answer.
Collier loves those body shots. Nice uppercut by Collier. Straight right hand by Collier. Comes in now with the combination.
That was real good work. Whitley's in a little bit of trouble right here. I'd like to see Collier go downstairs and then come upstairs just like he just did.
He just did exactly what you were talking about.
Whitley's legs are weakening. He's getting a little tired. He can't keep up with the pace of Collier. And his punches don't have the impact that Collier's do. Nice uppercut off the ropes. Collier's a good little fighter. He has some potential. And Whitley is no slouch either. He's trying his best in there against a guy who obviously is a better fighter. But there's no quitting him.
Collier leaning into those shots. You can hear him grunting and groaning as he's throwing those body shots. And Whitley, he is starting to breathe heavy through his mouth.
Oh, that's a nice combination by Collier, and he went downstairs.
Standing 8 count.
Oh, here it comes. Very, very good work.
You can see the referee looking there if he was going to take 1 or 2 more shots, and he did take those shots. The ref stepped in, standing 8 count.
Collier really has a sense of what he's doing in there. And Whitley is, again, trying his best. He's a game kid, Whitley. He's got nothing to be ashamed of as he lands a couple good punches coming to the end of the round. Good fight, very, very good fight between these two kids.
Excellent fight, excellent matchup. Sherrod Collier against Denzel Whitley.
Two really good fights, Louie. Thank you very much.
Let's recap round
And Ron, let's take a look at that round. I thought it was a very, very nice round. The best round of the fight for Sherrod Collier in red.
Absolutely, he dominated the round, landed some very damaging blows. Whitley did his best to keep him off, but just was unable to detour the attack of Collier, who did some great damage in there.
So you just have a feeling after you've watched those 3 very competitive rounds that gentleman you're looking at, Sherrod Collier, is going to come away with the victory. But let's make it official and go up to our ring announcer. He's got it. Let's take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 action-packed rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards where we have a decision, and it is a unanimous one in favor of the boxer out of the red corner, Sherrod Collier, Hartford Boxing.
No surprise there. Sherrod Collier with the decision, using 2 hands throughout the fight, both to the head and the body, against a very game Denzel Whitley. And it was the hand speed, just the mixing up of the punches of the man in the red top, Sherrod Collier, as he advances his amateur career. But Denzel Whitley has nothing to be ashamed about, as he lost to a very, very gifted amateur fighter, Sherrod Collier. We have a feeling you're going to hear about both these guys in the pros in the years to come.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing would like to ask you to join us as we honor America with the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome to the ring for the singing of God Bless America, Brooklyn, New York's Melissa Fiore.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Fiore. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mohegan Sun Casino Resort and the Mohegan Sun Arena for this evening's Slugfest at the Sun. This bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the middleweight division, being brought to you this evening by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. The bouts this evening are sanctioned by the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. The chairman of Mohegan Tribe is Kevin Brown. The chief of Mohegan Tribe is Lynn Malerba. The supervisors are Michael Mazzulli and Michael Murtha. Your doctors at ringside, Michael Schwartz, MD, Anthony Alessi, MD, and Corey Edgar, MD. The judges here in our opening bout are Peter Harry Jr., Clark Sammartino, and Tom Carasone. And the third man in the ring, controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee, Danny Chavone. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 162.5 pounds. He owns a professional record of 0-7, wearing black, trimmed with yellow this evening, hailing from Framingham, Massachusetts. Please welcome Saul the Spider Almeida. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 163 pounds even, wearing blue with red, white, and gray, making his professional debut this evening, hailing from Puerto Rico, now living, training, and fighting out of Hartford, Connecticut. Please welcome Jose Rated R. Rivera.
Well, Randy, as you can see, Mr. Rivera has brought quite a following with him, and from watching him warm up in his corner, I believe.
Obey my commands at all times. Keep the bout clean. Touch him up. Go back to your corners. Good luck.
And here we go, getting ready for the start of this 4-round middleweight bout between Jose Rivera and Saul Almeida. I'm Randy G, joined by matchmaker Ron Katz at ringside, Cara Castronova on hand for her roaming interviews. Here we go, round number 1.
And we got a battle of southpaws. And Almeida, although winless in 7 fights, is quite an accomplished MMA fighter who has a MMA record of 18-5. He's never been stopped as a pro. Rivera's turning pro. He's also an MMA fighter. Didn't have a lot of amateur fights. So this might be a little bit interesting here.
I expect this one to go 4 rounds. I have seen Almeida fight before. Very, very gifted. He's got a heck of a chin. And he just knows how to use the ring.
Just he doesn't win fights. It's a good little counter right hook by Rivera. As you can see, Almeida just switched up to right hand.
A lot of the MMA guys fight both ways. They fight right-hander and they fight as southpaws. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because Rivera is a southpaw. He's going to keep that right foot forward. And when you have a right-hander against a left-hander, many times guys are stepping on each other's feet. Many times there are headbutts.
Almeida is a little too straight up, giving Rivera a nice target. But Almeida right now is the guy walking in.
And you know, this is one of those learning fights. Rivera in the blue trunks making his pro debut against a guy who's 0-7. If you look at the record of just about every fighter out there, whether it's a Muhammad Ali, whether it's Joe Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard, all of them begin their careers against somebody who's going to get in there and give them rounds.
Nice counter right, left, and again by Rivera.
Referee Danny Chavon tells Rivera, you got to watch it, watch that elbow.
Rivera is showing skill beyond his experience right now. Almeida, believe it or not, is a more experienced guy in there. But Rivera is landing some real good shots right now. As Almeida continues to walk in, but isn't very effective offensively, although he landed a nice little right hand there.
He's somewhat awkward. If you think you're going to hit him with a big shot, you're really not. He rolls with shots. He gets away from shots.
He's not using his height to his advantage.
That's why he's 0-7, but he's very, very, he will test Rivera tonight.
Rivera's the guy that has found the range a lot better and the distance, and it was a good first round for Rivera.
Final seconds, opening round, scheduled for 4.
Rivera's found a home. Oh, and he drops Almeida right at the bell with a right hook counter. As I was saying, he's found a home for that right hook. But Almeida bounced right up.
The corner, Danny Chavon actually wasn't very clear that that was a knockdown. He should have pointed to the corner and had the corner get right down, because the bell cannot save a fighter. That count should have taken place without the cornerman rushing into the ring. And let's take a look at the action in round number 1.
Just watch the right hook of Rivera. That was his money punch throughout the round.
And you see Almeida trying to mix it up on the inside. A nice
shot.
crisp right hand dropped him just before the bell. It's round number 2 coming up. And the ref has the slow corner of Almeida now. Get out of the ring.
And Almeida comes out with some purpose right here. I like that, showing a lot of guts. But he better watch out for that right hook, because he's leaving his left hand down low. He's not moving his head. He switches to southpaw, and he landed a nice right hand. I think he would be better off staying southpaw. Take away that right hook of Rivera a little bit. But Almeida coming out to fight, no doubt about it. Trying to put some pressure on as Rivera counters his advances.
We're here at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut.
The thing that gets me about so many fighters in this day and age is that they just don't move their head. They don't keep their hands up. It's so basic. Any old school guy will tell you the first 2 things you should learn: keep your hands up and move your head. And so many fighters don't do it, and that's why you see so many fighters get hit with the punches they get hit with. Just like there. But these guys are mixing it up pretty good. But Almeida, again, is like a statue, and Rivera's teeing off with that right hook.
And Almeida would do so much better if he would just box.
They are going at it right now, though, to the delight of the crowd. It's not in Almeida's nature to box. He's a fighter. He may not win, but he's going to make it work. And Rivera's a very well-conditioned guy who takes this very serious, you can tell. He's very focused in there.
Almeida is 27 years old. He began his professional boxing career in July of 2012. And he did that one right here at the Mohegan Sun. And there was a clash of heads, and it was considered a no contest.
There, Almeida moved his head a little bit and was able to avoid the 2 hard punches that Rivera threw for the first time. But Almeida looks a little bit gassed after that initial onslaught, but he's in there trying. There's the right hook again, and again. And a nice combo by Rivera, putting his punches together nice, but Almeida's going shot for shot with him, which could be very dangerous. Nice little uppercut by Almeida.
Yes, you caught that one.
I mean, he's running second, but not by much.
About 20 seconds remain in round number 2. Nice onslaught by Rivera with his back to the ropes in the corner.
Almeida is really trying hard, and this is a good fight. 2 guys trying hard. Another good round and another Rivera round.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the safety of the boxers.
And Almeida takes a seat, takes a deep breath after he takes that seat. This one's scheduled for 4 in the middleweight division. These guys technically just over the middleweight limit, anything over 160, but let's call them middleweights. Ron Katz, let's take a look at some of that action from the second round.
There you can see the reason Almeida got hit is he fell in, throwing a left hook to the body and left his head completely exposed to that right hook. But again, he's got the attitude of, okay, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you, and that's what a lot of that round was like. But Rivera certainly landed the cleaner, crisper blows.
There you see Rivera taking a deep breath, getting the mouthpiece put back in, thinking about what he did in the first round, what he did in the second round, what he has to do here in round number 3. Round number 3 now underway. Referee has to get over to the corner of Rivera, tell him to clean up that water in the corner.
And Danny Schiavone once again doing a great job. You don't even notice him in there. And now, suddenly, Rivera has switched to right-handed. And as I say that, he goes back to the left-handed stance. It looks like he may switch up this round, lefty-righty.
There's just a wild kind of pop shot with the right hand from Almeida.
Almeida's keeping him a little at bay with that long jab. Rivera might be a bit winded. His first pro fight, he's expended a lot of energy. His mouth is open a little bit.
Yeah, and he just took a deep breath and then blew it out.
But landed a nice counter left hand.
Like we said earlier, in the first round, we said, I expect Rivera's going to win his pro debut, but he's going to learn tonight.
And now he comes forward, winging punches. Almeida tried to keep him off, but got hit with a couple good shots. And now Almeida is trying to return the favor. Rivera's getting a little wide with his punches, so if Almeida can take advantage of it, he might be able to turn the tide of the fight a little bit in his favor.
I sense a little bit of frustration on the part of Rivera. That jab hasn't been working the way he'd like it to work.
I don't think so, Randy. I think it's just that he's a little winded here and is trying to get his second win. He threw a lot of punches the first two rounds. It's his first pro fight. He's not used to going 4 3-minute rounds. You can see his mouth is open and he's breathing through his mouth. That's maybe the third or fourth time he's taken deep breaths. But Almeida is letting him get away with it. Oh, there was a good combo, and Almeida's a little shook up by it.
3, 4 hard right hands. Left hand by Rivera. Almeida slumps on the ropes. And Danny Schiavone, as Almeida slumps on the ropes. Almeida is angry, didn't want it stopped. And in comes one of the Connecticut Commission doctors to take a look at him. Personally, I mean, I think he's okay.
I got to be honest with you, Randy. To me, that was a very, very quick stoppage. The guy is a cagey guy. He wasn't really hurt badly. He was stunned.
Well, Ron, it was in the third round. Several hard shots by Rivera. Let's take a look.
It's a short left hand.
Led to the ending.
The right hook, once again, was the punch that started it. But those aren't really clean shots. Look, I mean, he's not.
The left hand was, the second left hand was.
That was maybe the last punch was the best punch, but Almeida was deflecting a lot of those shots. And I got to be honest, I think it was a quick stoppage. Not saying that the inevitable would not have happened, but Almeida is an experienced guy who's used to going the distance.
Well, no matter how you look at it, that man, if they don't pull his arm out of his socket, I'm so against guys doing that. Yanking the gloves and you see the guy's arm stretching out.
Crazy.
Meanwhile, he's 1-0. He came in tonight against a guy who was 0-7, oh so game, oh so cagey, that man.
So you can see
Saul
Almeida is
Almeida.
fine. Yeah, he's fine, Almeida. Look at him. He's a little angry that the fight was stopped, and I, quite frankly, don't blame him. But it was a nice pro debut win for Mr. Rivera, who brought a nice contingent of fans. Both fighters fought hard. It's a good fight. That's all you can ask for.
Well, Rivera, you wonder, had this fight finished the third round and gone into the fourth, would he have punched himself out? We will never know. We can only ask questions. Let's go up to ring announcer Mark Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee in charge, Danny Schiavone, calls a stop to this one. The official time, 2 minutes, 3 seconds in the third round. Your winner by TKO from Hartford, Connecticut, Jose Rated R. Rivera.
Well, he reigns from Hartford, Connecticut. Just a short drive from here at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville. Beautiful area this is. Jose Rivera brought a lot of fans with him. And he's with our own Cara Castronova right now.
Congratulations on your first professional victory. How did it feel to win in front of all your hometown fans tonight?
Thank you. It feels amazing. I mean, we worked really hard for this camp. We had an opponent originally, but he backed out due to a hand injury. So thank God we find a replacement. Hats off to Saul Maida for stepping up. He gave me a run for my money, and appreciate that. Thanks everybody came for support. All my sponsors, thank you so much.
Is boxing something that you plan on continuing with?
Yeah, most definitely. I've been training a lot of boxing lately, and I'm planning on staying.
Congratulations again. Looking forward to seeing more of you.
Thank you so much.
Great job, Cara. Jose Rivera wins his first fight. There's that first round knockdown with the right hook. And basically this fight was all Rivera, but he learned a lot tonight. In his 2.5 rounds in the ring, he won it on a 3rd round TKO. The man in blue, Jose Rivera from Hartford, Connecticut, now an undefeated middleweight at 1-0. Prado and get this one
Ladies
underway.
and gentlemen, the action continues here at the Slugfest at the Sun, Mohegan Sun Arena. And the next bout is scheduled for 8 rounds in the welterweight division, a rematch for the vacant New England welterweight title. It's brought to you by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. The judges for this bout are Peter Harry Jr., Clark Sammartino, and Don Ackerman. Controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the 3rd man in the ring, referee Michael Ortega. Introducing first, the fighter out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 147.5 pounds. He owns a professional record of 12, 21, and 3, 2 victories by way of knockout. Wearing red trimmed with gold, representing Norwalk, Connecticut by way of Bridgeport. A former IBC title contender, please welcome Shaka Moore. And his opponent across the ring, boxing out of the red corner, he also weighed in at 147.5 pounds. He owns a professional record of 11-1-1 with 5 victories, coming by way of knockout. Wearing white, green, and gold of Ireland, hailing from Glengad, County Donegal, now living, training, and fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts. Please welcome Michael Donegal Dynamite McLaughlin.
Gentlemen, went over the rules in the dressing room. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Michael Ortega, the 3rd man in the ring, one of the best refs on this planet. Many title fights. This man can do it all. Shaka Moore against Michael McLaughlin, scheduled for 8 rounds in the welterweight division. Michael McLaughlin in the white trunks with the shamrock. Shaka Moore in those dark trunks. You're going to see him both box as a right-hander and as a southpaw. And right now, he's boxing as a right-hander. Michael McLaughlin, just a very controlled, poised southpaw. Randy G., the commish, joined by Cara Castronova at ringside from the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. This one is scheduled for 8 rounds, 8 3-minute rounds.
So it's pretty interesting, like you said before, they're both southpaws, but, you know, when McLaughlin is fighting from the southpaw position, it seems that that is the position that he fights from all the time. And
Shaka Moore loves switching up, and he started as a right-hander. Let's see if he happens to switch back to his much more comfortable southpaw position, but right now he's staying as a right-hander.
Do you have any idea why he would be fighting right-handed when he usually fights lefty, Randy?
Well, a lot of times you just try to deke a guy out of position. You want to see what way he goes, but Shaka Moore loves fighting basically out of southpaw, and there he goes, just as we're talking about it. Now he switches around. He said, okay, I showed you a little bit of right-hander. Now I'll do my southpaw thing. A lot of guys do that. There's only one guy that I've ever seen in all the years I'm covering boxing who does it as well from one side as the other.
I was going to ask you that. I was about to ask you, who do you think has done that successfully?
Only one guy has ever done it with the success of marvelous Marvin Hagler. And he came from up in that Boston area, just like Michael McLaughlin. McLaughlin has an 11-1-1 record, 5 knockouts, mainly on the TKO variety. And Shaka Moore, 12-21-5 with but 2 little knockouts. But he can frustrate the heck out of you. And as we've seen many times, guys are in there with the young, impressive record, just like McLaughlin. But they learn something when they get in with a veteran who basically doesn't have a chance of ever winning a title.
Right.
He's 12-21, not going anywhere, but he's an opponent. And he's a good professional opponent.
Yeah, records can be deceiving. Fights could be tougher than they look on record. And this guy, he definitely has the ring experience, and he didn't come to lose.
About 10 more seconds here in round number 1. A very composed man in white. Michael McLaughlin opens it up with seconds remaining. Shaka Moore says, you're not going to do that to me. End of round number 1.
What'd you think of that round?
It was more or less, that was a feeling out round. Michael McLaughlin really wanted to see, you know your opponent. He knows his guy in there has lost many more decisions than he's even had fights. He's lost 21 times. Let's take a look at some of the rather slow action from round number 1.
Definitely a feeling out round. I think Shaka Moore's trying to figure out, okay, am I going to fight righty or am I going to fight lefty?
I think you're going to basically see Shaka Moore stay as a southpaw. Once in a while, he will go back, he'll fight as a right-hander. Just as a little confusion, he wanted a shot of water, and you saw him pull away from his head trainer there who tried to put the mouthpiece in. He pulled away from him, said, no, give me a shot of water. They did. Round number 2 about to start. Referee Mike Ortega, one of the best on this planet.
Interesting that we were talking about Shaka Moore's record being deceiving, because he actually won his last fight. And he beat somebody that was 13-2. So, you can't take these opponents lightly.
Oh, absolutely. And that was, for that guy, quite embarrassing.
Right.
That took place in Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. It was a 6-round decision for Shaka Moore, who in that fight just kept getting stronger and stronger as the fight went on. So you wonder if Mike McLaughlin himself is thinking, I know what happened in that fight. I know that Shaka Moore gets stronger in a fight. Maybe I can't let him
He beat a
take
guy
this
who was
deep.
He beat a guy who was 13-2. You know, the guy was expected to win, and he didn't. So you never know, Randy.
McLaughlin, known as a good defensive fighter. You saw him pick off a wild right hand by Shaka Moore. And those jabs of Michael McLaughlin, he loves throwing the jab, the right jab, doubling up on it, sometimes even tripling up on it. They're just that lead left hand. You're not going to hit a guy like Shaka Moore, a real veteran, with just a lead left hand to the body like that. And now they're actually stepping on each other's feet. And this is what happens when a right-hander boxes a southpaw. And again, Shaka Moore back as a southpaw. He started the fight as a right-hander. You've got 2 southpaws in there against each other. Referee Ortega is the kind of guy who lets fighters work on the inside, but if he sees them holding on, one arm is tied up, then he'll step in and break them. But he does let them fight on the inside. McLaughlin fighting more of a safety first fight. It looks like he's a little frustrated, moving those arms around, trying to deke Shaka Moore out of position, but Shaka Moore's not going for any of it.
He's throwing a lot of left hands, a lot of jabs. You know, if he follows up that right hand, I think it will land.
McLaughlin threw a nice, about 10 seconds ago, threw a right-left. and they got in. They were grazing shots, but he should try those combinations a lot more. McLaughlin, no baby. He's 31 years old. Final seconds. Round number 2, and a round that the action has been heating up, especially round number 1, that feeling out round. This has not been. There's the bell ending round number 2, a welterweight battle.
I definitely give that round to McLaughlin. I think he was more calculated. He was in there really. He had more of a game plan. He was landing more. What do you think?
No question about it. On my card, the first round, I mean, I gave it to McLaughlin, just a kind of ho-hum. But the second round, no question about it, I gave it to him. And let's take a look at some of the action from round number 2, which really, that action heated up, Kara.
Yeah, definitely McLaughlin. He's landing more point punches. I mean, he doesn't hit with a tremendous amount of power, but he's landing. And Shakamura just needs to start landing more punches.
Michael McLaughlin looks to have like a little bit of a nick around the right eye. They put some Vaseline above both the right eye and the left eye. He's on his feet well before the bell.
Is it true that Irish guys cut more easily? From your experience watching?
I have always heard that, and I just don't buy it. I think a guy who gets hit a lot, and also if you do have very, very fair skin,
right,
they say that you don't have as much melanin, and the melanin also has to do with keeping the skin more or less tight
more
and
elastic.
almost like not so much cut resistance, but harder to cut. But I asked my co-host on Sirius XM Radio, Jerry Cooney. I said, Jerry, what do you think about Irishmen
What did he
cutting
say?
easier? No, that's baloney. There's
Well,
nothing
he's not
to
your
it.
typical Irish guy. I mean,
He
he's
said, you know what? You get hit enough shots. Guess what? You're going to cut.
right.
Or sometimes it doesn't even take a lot of shots. It can be a real hard punch onto the eyebrow. And
Right.
sometimes it's how the bones are shaped. Are they round or are they a little bit jagged or pointed? And sometimes it just takes one shot to bust it open.
What was the worst cut you ever saw?
Oh, I've seen cuts. I mean, just horrendous cuts. And offhand, I can't even think of. There have been so many deep cuts.
Yeah, the Chris Algieri cut, that one when he, Ruslan Provoknov, that was the worst cut I've seen in a long time, and that was actually Joe DeGuardia's fighter.
Former heavyweight contender Jerry Quarry suffered some severe cuts. This is a welterweight battle. Mike McLaughlin, white trunks. Shakamura in the dark, in the purplish trunks with the gold embroidery.
Seems like he's decided to really stay lefty. I think that's what his game plan is for the rest of the fight. I don't think it's a good one. I mean, he's not really he's not effective right now. He's not landing that right jab. His right jab isn't strong, which is the most important punch.
Shakamura, 40 years young, began his professional career in 1996, and he did it with a win. Once upon a time, he was an undefeated fighter. Then he lost his next 3, and then it was back and forth. He'd win one, lose a few. Referee Ortega gets between them.
Like when a guy loses as many fights as he has, what propels him to keep fighting, Randy? Would he, like a guy like Shakamura?
Well, he does have another job, and he picks up some extra money doing this. He hasn't been getting hurt.
Could it really be the money, or is it just the love of boxing?
Yeah, it's just it's the competitive. A lot of guys, they just don't like getting out of the game, and he's got that 12-21 record. But he loves frustrating guys. He loves teaching them, and you know what? It looks to me like he's having fun teaching Mike McLaughlin in there.
He doesn't get hit a tremendous amount, so it's not like he's hurt. I don't think he's to the point where.
And let's take a look at some of that action from round number 3. And it was a round where I still thought that Michael McLaughlin won the round, but it looks to me like he's getting a little bit upset in there and frustrated. And we're going to take a look at some of the action from round number 3. The action. Okay. We are looking into the corner of Michael McLaughlin.
He does look frustrated. I agree.
Yeah. Look at his eyes.
Right. I think he came here thinking this was going to be an easier fight than it is. And Shakamura is not an easy person to hit. He's unorthodox the way he moves, so that makes it difficult. And you know, McLaughlin, he's not the most crafty fighter. You know, he's somewhat you see him coming sometimes. So I think he's a little bit frustrated. I thought he thinks it would be an easier fight.
Round number 4, scheduled for 8 rounds in the welterweight division. We're coming to you from the Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino here in beautiful Unclesville, Connecticut. Michael McLaughlin in the light-colored trunks against Shakamura in the dark. Shakamura, 40 years young, with a record of 12-21-5. There are a lot of guys. You don't find a lot of guys with this kind of record fighting in the United States.
Right.
Over in England, they allow guys to fight. And there, now, was that a headbutt or was that an elbow? Was that a passing elbow? The way he's rubbing it, that seems to be an elbow. And he kind of forgives Michael McLaughlin for that one. But those elbows and headbutts, oh, they hurt. And that was a headbutt. Randy G, along with Kara Castronova, former New York Golden Gloves champion. In your sparring and in your fights, Kara, you ever get hit with an elbow or take a nice headbutt?
A headbutt is one of the worst things. I mean, usually you're in headgear in sparring, and that protects you from a headbutt. That's really the only thing I think a headgear protects you from. But a headbutt, the head is a hard bone, and it's not fun to get hit with a headbutt or an elbow.
Well, Shakamura is back again as a right-hander. He started the fight as a right-hander. He always boxes as a southpaw. He is a left-hander, but he has turned it around again, boxing as a right-hander. If Michael McLaughlin did that, that would be news because he is a
Right.
left-hander and he fights as a southpaw 100% of the time.
Not an easy thing to do, switch feet. I don't think it's, I think unless you're, like you mentioned before, who you said was Pernell Whitaker, that was the best one that switched? Who you made mention?
Marvin Hagler.
Marvin Hagler. Unless you're Marvin Hagler, you should stick to one or the other, in my opinion.
But when you can switch, many times it frustrates your opponent. It takes him out of his game plan. He's starting to maybe thinking he figures you out, and then all of a sudden you show him an entirely different
Maybe.
style.
From the experience I've had fighting people that switch, I find them much easier to fight for some reason. Because there's always one position where they can't fight as well from, and they're going to get hit more from.
Nice combination by McLaughlin here in round number 4. This one is scheduled for 8 rounds, and we're going to head to the midpoint of this fight in about 15 seconds. And I think Michael McLaughlin putting another one in the books, or at least on the scorecards. Competitive rounds, but I think Michael McLaughlin is winning the rounds as he falls over the top of Shakamura. The referee gets between them at the final bell.
So you're giving that round to McLaughlin as well, Randy?
Yeah, just 10 right across the board on the top of my scorecard. Michael McLaughlin 10, 10, 10, 10, and all 9s across the board on the bottom.
I mean, he's doing
for
what he has to
Shakamura.
do. He's doing what he has to do to win.
Okay, Kara, there was a nice headbutt in that, and I don't mean nice in any
Right,
good
you
way.
see it
Bang,
right
you see
there.
them come right in.
That was a
They
impact.
both felt it.
Shakamura, he's getting hit with those 1-2s.
Yeah, that was accidental. No question about it. Sometimes I've seen guys throw those heads in there. Look, over the years, Mike Tyson did it, Evander Holyfield did it, many of the top pros did it. You know what? This was completely accidental. It does happen. I'm glad that neither guy was injured other than that momentary ouch.
Right.
And Kara, that's not to be compared, the accidental headbutt, to an accidental ear bite.
Right.
Except those weren't accidental. It was one ear, then it was the other ear. One of the strangest moments in the history of boxing. Evander Holyfield actually was up in the studio not long ago, and he said, "What are you looking at? You looking at my ears?" I said, "Yes."
Was it
He said, "You know, everybody looks at my ears."
I would look at his ears.
Round number 5, scheduled for 8 rounds in a welterweight bout between Michael McLaughlin in the light-colored trunks with the Shamrock. 11-1 and 1. McLaughlin started his career back in 2010 with a 4-round draw. Then ripped off a couple of victories. Then he lost his only fight to a guy with a record of 1-7.
Wow.
Antonio Chavez Fernandez in Dorchester, Massachusetts, a 4-round decision. And then they had a chance about a year later to get a rematch. And this time in the rematch, Michael McLaughlin beat him on a 6th-round decision. So he avenged his only defeat.
And Shaka Moore has been fighting since 2002. I mean, that's a long time to be fighting. What is that going on? How many years?
Yeah,
A lot.
14. That one, for a moment, you thought there might have been a punch that knocked him down, but it looked to me like his knee just kind of went out. He went down and got up. He knew it was a slip. But apparently his knee did not go out. He just lost his footing, because if his knee went out, he'd be limping around.
The interesting thing about Shaka Moore is he's been fighting. He fights a few times every year. I thought to myself, you know, fighting since 2002, maybe there was a point where he took a couple years off. He never took a couple years off. He's been fighting every single year since 2002. So he must stay in the gym a lot.
He stays in the gym, and he's always ready for the calls from the promoters saying, hey, look, somebody fell out. Can you do us a favor? There might have been a low blow in there, and there was a nice body shot from Shaka Moore, and those shots bothered Michael McLaughlin.
Definitely took a toll on him. I mean, you could see it on his face when he got hit.
And the ref has something to say to Shaka Moore about the rough stuff, the low blows. And look at that. He got away from 3 shots by Michael McLaughlin. This is not a pretty round, but it's not especially a good one for Michael McLaughlin. If anything, Shaka Moore is having his best round of the fight. Shaka Moore not using any energy.
Ooh.
He's just bending, bobbing, weaving, gets shoved back to the ropes with a few seconds remaining in round number 5.
He just got hit with a couple, about 4 straight punches. End of the round, I think that's going to take a little toll on him. He just got hit with about 4 punches really flush.
You know, we thought that might have been a low blow in round number 5 against the ropes, but it wasn't, and it was another headbutt.
Wow.
Bang, right there. Michael McLaughlin took it on the right side of his, like right above the right eye. He is lucky that just did not pop open. When heads collide like that, skin tends to
He's not
bust
cut,
open.
so maybe you were right about the thing about the Irish cut.
I mean, if
not.
I got to tell you, if Michael McLaughlin didn't get cut from that, I'm not sure what is going to cut him, because that shot looked to be right around the eyebrow.
Right.
It looks like he might have a little swelling, but if that's all he comes away with, and I'm sure it still hurts him, that ice is going to feel good later on. Round number 6, scheduled for 8 welterweights. Shaka Moore in the dark trunks, Michael McLaughlin in the white with the shamrock on his right leg.
Shaka Moore back to fighting righty now. I think he comes out every round and he switches each round.
Let's see what he does this round if he stays as right-hander. Again, he started the fight as a right-hander. We know he's a southpaw, but he loves to switch up. Michael McLaughlin makes his home in Massachusetts, but spends a lot of his time in his home of Donegal, Ireland.
Do we know anything? Did he have any type of amateur record in
He's
Ireland?
Had a number of amateur bouts over in Ireland. Captured a couple of national championships as an amateur in Ireland. But tonight he is learning a lot from a guy who is 12 and 21. And I say that very respectfully.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
You know, I don't say that he's in there with a guy who's 12 and 21. This is a fight he definitely should win.
That was a trip. I think that was a slip.
You know what? They were swapping punches. Shakamura got in, but it looked like McLaughlin got in at the same time, and the punch knocked Shakamura down. So basically, no matter how the round goes, because this is the pros, this round will be scored by the judges 10-8 for McLaughlin. Again, unless Shakamura can change it up, do something here to really impress the judges, and he's going to have to really beat up on McLaughlin or knock him down to do that. 1 minute remains, round number 6. Watch how when the punches of McLaughlin come out, they are swinging for the fences in close. McLaughlin forced to hold on. I was going to say, when they are apart, watch when McLaughlin jabs with that right jab. You're going to see Shakamura bend. See how he gets out of the way? He just leans over a little bit to his left.
I mean, that's not, you mentioned McLaughlin had a lot of fights in Ireland. That's not something you see in Ireland. That's more of an American style that he, leaning over a little bit like that. And it's frustrating for somebody who has more of a European style to deal with that type of head movement, that type of unorthodox behavior.
You know, when you say European style, it's basically straight up, hands held high. He's trying to get Americanized. Final seconds, round number 6.
This, like you said, this is a great learning experience. If he comes off the win with this, he will learn a lot from this fight.
Heavy action in that round. These guys are really at each other. Carol, let's take a look at some action from round number 6.
So, taking a look at that knockdown. It was a trip and a punch. He hit him pretty hard, then he tripped. So
you know what it was? It wasn't, the punch didn't land with the glove. It looked like it was the right wrist that actually landed on Shakamura.
But it was counted as a knockdown.
Yeah.
Yep,
and because of the headbutts, remember that earlier headbutt, there's a nice welt you see right along the outside of the left eye of Shakamura.
Both
and
these
they are
guys
putting that ice on it.
They're both going to have bad headaches tomorrow.
Yeah, tonight they'll be going back to their rooms here at the beautiful Mohegan Sun Resort Casino and taking the ice bucket and putting that ice on their face. This is round number 7, scheduled for 8 welterweight bout. Between the 40-year-old Shakamura and the 31-year-old Michael McLaughlin. Nice right uppercut by McLaughlin, picking his shot there and then stepping away.
What would you tell McLaughlin to do if you were his trainer? I know you train fighters and you really wanted him to start winning more clear rounds. What would you tell him to do?
Combinations. He's throwing one punch at a time. Bang. There's one punch. It did land, but many times when he throws that one shot, Shakamura bends away from it.
Right.
Combinations. But you see that, what Leon Spinks used to call freaky deaky.
Right.
He's just in front of him, moving his head a little bit, saying, here I am.
Would you would you tell him aim for the chest maybe? Maybe it will land on the head when he does that bend
Very
thing?
good. You know, when a guy moves his head like that, and you're just pot-shotting for the head, many times you're going to miss it. Yes, throw for the neck region, and many times you're going to land those shots rather than miss.
Right. And how about Shakamura? What would you tell him?
I would tell him keep the pressure on. I think he's doing a great job on the inside.
Right.
Many times when he moves in, you see Michael McLaughlin start to hold on.
Right. He doesn't like it on the inside. McLaughlin doesn't have the frame and the stature of of an inside fighter. He likes to keep mid-range, so he's not comfortable on the inside.
And again, Shakamura with those 21 losses, you got to go back 4 years, over 4 years, when he was stopped in the 4th round by a then undefeated fighter, Derek Silveira, for the USA New England welterweight title. Guy was unbeaten in that fight and stopped him on his feet.
That was a nice 1-2. So yeah, you're right, Randy. When he throws, the combinations, they land.
And there's Shaka Moore doing his best work when he basically assaults McLaughlin.
No, I think Shaka Moore is actually, believe it or not, in a little bit of better shape than McLaughlin. I mean, I don't think McLaughlin's in the best shape he's ever been in. I think that Shaka Moore has a little bit more, he has a little bit more, his stature, he's built better. It seems like he was doing a little bit more road work before this fight. Or maybe that's just the way that McLaughlin's built. What do you think?
Haven't seen all that much of him, but he looks like he's in real good shape. He's just got to move those hands a lot more. Gets hit with one good right hand and another good right hand. Ortega gets between them at the bell. Shaka Moore was starting to unload on McLaughlin at the bell.
McLaughlin definitely saved by that bell. And there's blood. There's a lot of blood. Is that blood coming from McLaughlin on his chest? Now he's starting to bleed. So I think this fight's going to change direction a little bit.
Now, they have been banging around in there, and I am not sure if this was another headbutt. They have butted about 3 or 4 times. There's a chopping right hand by McLaughlin. But let's see here when they fall together. Yes!
Yeah. Definitely a headbutt that causing the blood there. That looked a little bit more intentional on the part of Shaka Moore. He's a veteran. He knows the dirty tricks,
You might say that it was intentional. He was coming in, and then he dove in, and the right side of his head caught the side of the face of McLaughlin. And here we go. They touch gloves. 8th and final round. Let's see if McLaughlin plays it real safe. I've got him up by 4 points. So let's see if he just stays on the outside, doesn't take any caution whatsoever. He just stays on that outside, doesn't take any chances.
Right. Well, he's best on the outside, Randy, like when he's throwing those straight punches down the middle,
McLaughlin very happy on the outside. Just keeps moving around, keeps moving to his left. So now I'd love to see Shaka Moore switch up.
Right. Shaka Moore's looking for that big punch. He's just looking for it.
And Shaka Moore's got to cut that ring off because he knows which way basically McLaughlin's going to go. He's going to step over to his left. What you got to do is cut his escape route off. Take another step over to your right. He's just following him in a circle. Step to your right. There he tried to do it, but he's just not putting the pressure on. He takes a step, and he's not coming in. He's giving Michael McLaughlin too much room. McLaughlin ahead in this fight, I think.
Right.
That's why he's fighting as he is. He's just not going to take any chances anymore with this 12-21 Shaka Moore, who has basically given a class tonight to Michael McLaughlin. He's learned a lot from it.
That was...
We're going to call that a slip.
That was a slip.
Oh, that was the left hook.
Was that a left hook?
Some of the fans around us seem to think that was a left hook that might have sent Michael McLaughlin down, which would make it a 10-8 round, but the referee did not call it as such. I thought it might have been a slip, not a knockdown.
Definitely.
McLaughlin bleeding from the right eye. 3-punch combination, then he gets out of there.
Fighting a very careful round.
1 minute. Oh, man.
45 seconds remaining in the 8th and final round. Shaka Moore going to have to fight out of desperation now. Just going to have to come in and rumble. Let's see if he does that, which he's doing right now. McLaughlin got his hands high. About 20 seconds remain.
Let it all hang out. 20 seconds.
McLaughlin on his bike, grabs on for dear life. 10 seconds remain. 8th and final round.
Oh.
Oh.
And the final bell. This has been a very interesting fight.
Very interesting. What'd you think? What was your take on that last round?
You know what? Let's go with Shaka Moore. I'm actually going to have Shaka Moore winning. Shaka Moore is going to be losing this fight, but not by a heck of a lot.
Really? What do you have on your scorecard?
I'm going to have him losing by 1 point. Oh, is this going to be a close one? I am not going to be surprised if it's going to be a little bit wider than that. But I was a little bit generous in some of the slower rounds, and I gave Shaka Moore because of his constant pressure in the fight. Very, very interesting fight. 8 rounds between 11-1 Michael McLaughlin and 12-21 Shaka Moore. If you didn't know who had what record, you might have said it was the other way around, but this was a very close fight. It was a very competitive fight. Maybe not close, but yes, it was competitive. There was not one round in the fight that was not competitive. And there you see Shaka Moore rubbing one of the areas where he took a headbutt. They each were butted about twice tonight, and I'm surprised that both guys' skin held up. Although Michael McLaughlin is bleeding from a cut around the right eye from a headbutt. But that headbutt, it could have been a lot worse, and they did a great job in the corner stopping the flow of blood.
It's just such a hard fight to score, I think.
It really is going to be
difficult. It's like the
really.
style.
I want to see how the judges are going to have this one scored. I had it 5-3 in rounds from Michael McLaughlin. So again, there it is. 2 points. I'm going to have McLaughlin winning. Not 1 point. 2 points. 5 rounds. 2-3. Let's see if I'm on the money with the scoring.
Yeah, I don't want to even make a prediction because I really don't know what the judges. I think a lot of the judges, it just depends on what kind of style they prefer.
And the respectful congratulations to each other, walk over to each other's corner. The scorecards are being marked. And speaking of Mark, our Mark Fratto has those cards. He knows what the scores is, and he's going to tell us who won this 8-round welterweight bout. Mark, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for the decision. Judge Peter Harry Jr. saw the bout 79-73. Judges Clark Sammartino and Don Ackerman saw the bout 79-72. All 3 judges in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, and the New England welterweight champion from County Donegal, Ireland, and Boston, Massachusetts, Michael Donegal Dynamite McLaughlin.
Michael McLaughlin's face told me that he wasn't sure.
He definitely wasn't
This was a tough fight. This was a learning fight for that man who won his 12th fight tonight. Michael McLaughlin. The punches hurt, the headbutts hurt even more, but the victory sure was sweet. Our Cara Castronova jumping up into the ring to try to get a hold of Michael McLaughlin and get some words out of him. I had it a little bit closer. Our Cara stands by with McLaughlin.
Congratulations on a hard-won victory. When they announced the decision, your reaction, you seemed to be very emotional. Was it because you were surprised that the fight was so high in the scorecards in your favor?
No, it was kind of a rematch. We fought in March, and I thought I was ahead in the scorecards then, and then it was an accidental headbutt. I got 8 stitches in my right eye, and my other eye glued, and then it wasn't past the 4th round back there, and so it didn't even go to the points, and I knew I was ahead, and I knew the title should have been mine anyway, so I really wanted this rematch, and I want to thank everyone that came up to follow me. I couldn't have done it without them, so I'm happy now. I've won the title, you know.
Did his switching from southpaw to righty have any effect on your game plan?
Not really, because we see maybe the first fight, but we knew what he was going to be doing. I worked with Kenny Butler and Martin Grealish, my 2 trainers there, on when he's switching his stances, you know, and we're really prepared for him this time, you know. So I'm just delighted with the one that got the title. It's mine.
Well, congratulations on the title. You deserve it. It was a hard-won victory, and looking forward to seeing your next fight.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone that came up to follow me. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much. Cheers.
you, Randy.
Nice job, Kara. Here's some action from that fight. And there was action. The only round there wasn't action was the first round. They felt each other out. Then they went at each other. Michael McLaughlin in the white trunks with the Shamrock faced a guy who was 12 and 21. So you had 11 and 1 against 12 and 21. The 11 and 1 became 12 and 1. But you know what? He may have won the fight, but he learned a lot more about professional boxing tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here at Mohegan Sun Arena, the Slugfest at the Sun. Our next bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the junior welterweight division. It's brought to you by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. The judges for this bout, Tom Carasone, Peter Harry Jr., and Don Ackerman. Controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee in charge is Michael Ortega. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 137.8 pounds. With a professional record of 12-3-2 for victories, coming by way of knockout. Wearing black with silver and the red, white, and blue of the USA and Puerto Rico. Hailing from Comerio, Puerto Rico, now Holyoke, Massachusetts, the former New England Junior Lightweight title holder. Please welcome Joseph "Chip" Perez. His opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner this evening. He also weighed in at 137.8 pounds. He owns a professional record of 11-2, 8 impressive victories coming by way of knockout. Wearing red trimmed with white and silver from the island of Jamaica. Raised in London, England, now living, training, and fighting out of Brooklyn, New York. Scott Bang Bang Burrell.
Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. And my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Well, it's Slugfest at the Sun, and that's exactly what this one might be. Joseph Perez in the red, white, and blue trunks. Scotty Burrell, Bang Bang Burrell, in the red trunks with the white frill. Scott Burrell is a twin brother. Now, Scott Burrell has a record of 11-2. His brother, Dean Burrell, is 10-1. These guys are identical twins.
Identical in weight? They would fight in the same weight class?
And for all I know, this could be Dean Burrell in the ring. They look identical. You're going to see Scotty Burrell uses a lot of left jabs, a lot of combinations, fast hands, but he's in against a guy who's not slow at all, Joseph Perez. And you're going to see a lot of, I think both guys are going to become real counter punchers tonight. They're going to let one guy throw, and then they're going to jump in with their own shot.
This is a nicely, I think it's a nice even matched fight. You know, guys have similar records. Perez is 12-3 and Scott Burrell is 11-2, and both of them had a couple wins in their past fights. Burrell's actually coming off 4 wins, and the last 2 were TKOs.
Scotty Burrell began his professional career in 2010, and he racked up 3 quick victories before he was absolutely shocked in a 3rd-round TKO against 3-6-2 Brian Abraham. Queens, New York. And to me, that's still a surprise how that happened. They tried to get Abraham back in the ring, but he never wanted the rematch. So that was the first loss of Burrell's career. His next loss came when, in 2013, he lost a split decision to another guy with a losing record. The guy was 6-11-1, James Hope, and that one came in Charlotte, North Carolina. So 2 shocking losses to Burrell. Those are his 2 losses against guys with losing records. And Joseph Perez, he began his professional career back in 2009, and he ripped off his first 5 fights with victories, 2 of them by knockouts. And then he ran into a little bit of trouble. He was disqualified, kind of rough stuff, up here in Connecticut on a 3rd-round disqualification. He won a few more, then he lost 2 in a row, then he had a couple of draws, and now in his last 2, he's had wins. This is an excellent matchup. And this has been a feeling out. Take a look at my jab. I'll show you my jab. You show me yours. And now it's starting to heat up at the end of round number 1. This is a junior welterweight bout.
Yeah, Burrell is definitely taking more of the role of the, the counterpuncher mover. Perez is a little bit more aggressive. At least in the first round he was.
That was just a tough round because both guys played much more on defense than they did on offense. They threw these, what I call, especially Burrell, a safety first punch. You kind of jump in and you're pulling the punch back before it even gets there. So you make sure that you're out of the way. And I thought I saw Burrell doing a lot more safety first stuff. I saw Perez taking the fight to him. I gave that first round 10-9 to Perez.
Okay.
And we're looking into the corner of Perez now. Looks calm, cool, and collected, not breathing hard at all. Mouthpiece being put back in his mouth. Referee is the veteran Mike Ortega, who, when one of the things he does, he's a businessman when he's not doing his refereeing stuff, which he also is one of the best in the world. He is a world-class masseuse. Every time my wife sees him, she goes, "Hi, Mike, my neck is hurting me." And he goes over and for a few minutes will rub Ronnie's neck. But he's great in everything he does. And as a ref, there are very few. I don't know if there's anybody better. He's in a line with the Jack Reeses and guys like that, the Tony Weeks, the Kenny Ballases of Nevada.
Nice body shot.
Nice body work, up and down.
What a difference in style. I mean, Burrell's like, he's jabbing the first round, landing at will, and all of a sudden, he's getting hit to the body by these very, very hard blows.
Burrell back to that jab again. Over the head with a right hand is Burrell. And now Ortega says, watch pushing the head down.
He has a nice long jab, Burrell. If he would just give it a little more commitment, I think that, that would be great. Because he has that, it's straight, it's long, it's precise. He's just not committing to it enough.
See, right now, Burrell again with that safety first kind of punch. Those jabs had something on it. When he steps into his jab, when he has that, when you say commitment, he does very nice. When he starts throwing that defensive stuff, that's when he becomes very vulnerable to counterpunches because his opponent realizes he can walk right through it.
Right. Yeah, you smell fear. You're a fighter. If the guy's nervous, you're going to capitalize on attacking him to the body, which Perez is doing, or which he did a few minutes ago.
About 45 seconds remain. Round number 2. And this one is scheduled for 6 rounds in the junior welterweight division. Nice jab by Scotty Burrell. Perez allowing Burrell to keep his distance a little bit too much. He's got to just close that distance. Because remember, he gives away 3 inches on height and several inches in reach. You don't hit a guy with height, you hit him with reach, but he gives away that reach, and from the outside, he's basically hopeless.
Right, but when he gets inside, he's dangerous. We saw that.
There he moved in, except his hands were down. There was no saving by the bell. And he's going to take the mandatory 8 from Mike Ortega. And now the bell should ring. It does. Perez goes back to his corner, bangs his gloves together because he realizes as close as that round might have been, that knockdown cost him the round by 2 points.
That was a flash
Judges
knockdown.
usually score 10-8 with a knockdown. Let's take a look,
yeah,
Kara,
I want to see that.
at that action.
You know, he's going to the body here like we were talking about. He's great when he gets on the inside. He's very powerful. And Burrell hates it when he doesn't like it on the inside at all.
Not at all. And then let's see.
Yeah, that was a knockdown. It was a check hook. I mean,
we've seen that before where the guy throws a shot and it didn't look like the glove portion landed. It looked more like the wrist area landed and caught him a little bit off balance and pushed him down. But when you do get hit and you go down, you get hit, you go down, it's a knockdown.
Right, it's like an equilibrium thing. When you get that check hook to the ear, sometimes it just does something to your eardrum and it causes you to topple over. And I think that's the case. That's what happened here.
This is round 3 action from the Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. I'm Randy G along with Kara Castronova. Former Golden Glove champion Kara, you ever think about going back in the ring again, a little competition? I saw you working out a few weeks ago at the Westbury Boxing Club on Long Island. You look like you were ready to get back in the ring.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm watching these fights. I'm jealous. You know, I'm like, I'm out here, they're in there. I wish I was in there, you know.
I saw it. I thought I saw something that day that told me you wanted to get back in the ring. You see like Heather Hardy doing her thing and a few of the others really making noise out there. And Clarissa Shields, I think, going to light up the female world. I think female boxing is really,
improved.
Gets spun around there. I'm loving female boxing, and I'm loving what I'm seeing right here because this is a real competitive fight.
It is. I love seeing the fights where the records are pretty even, you know. These are the fights I like to enjoy watching. And where the styles make fights, you know, they both have such different styles. It's who's going to be better at their style tonight. You know, I think if Perez finds a way inside without getting hit, then it's going to be his fight.
You know, the Burrell brothers, both of them, Scott and Dino, trained very, very hard. But a former manager of theirs, who's still friendly with them, tells me that they're so hard to make matches for. They reject this one, they reject that one. Now, I don't know if that's just the manager talking, but the manager said, I love these kids. I think the world of them. And they have all the talent in the world. And they've got to show it. They've got to step up.
Right.
And they are. Scotty Burrell and his brother Dino are 27 years young.
Similar style? Do they have?
Same thing.
Really?
Joseph Perez in those red, white, and blue Puerto Rican trunks. Joseph Perez, 29 years old, makes his home in East Hartford, Connecticut.
I like
out of Brooklyn.
I like the way that Perez, well, look, you know, right now they're on the inside, but when on the outside presence, he's constantly moving his head. He's not a stationary target, which is great because he is, you know, the shorter fighter. So he's moving his head, making sure that he's not, you know, going to be hit at will, which is, it's a lot to say for fighters. A lot of fighters don't move their heads.
Well, Perez is moving his head now, but he's not moving his hands. Moving your head is not going to win you rounds. Moving your hands will. Because even if you miss the guy, sometimes a judge might think you landed. And in a close round, those shots are going to stay in the mind of the judges. Move your hands.
Especially at the end of the round. At the end of the round is what the judges remember.
Right, exactly. End of round number 3.
He's trying to find his way in. What would you tell him to do? How could he get in there?
Now, which one are we looking at? Before we get into fight strategy here, let's take a look at some of the action from round number 3, Kara.
Nice overhand right by Perez. He has a lot of power when he gets in there. You know, he throws some really nice body work, body hooks, body shots. Burrell doesn't like being on the inside. He prefers to be on the outside, you know, trying to get out of there quick.
There we look into the corner of Perez, Joseph Perez out of East Hartford, Connecticut. They are imploring him, they're telling him, get in close. Don't stand on the outside with this taller, faster fighter.
See, lucky for, I mean, I always feel for the shorter guy, the guy that fights stuff on the inside. It's always up to him to bring the fight. It's so much pressure, like, you know, like, get on the inside, get on the inside. Getting on the inside also means you're going to get hit coming in sometimes. So it's a lot of pressure.
No, he's not listening there because Perez is fighting on the outside and getting inside with one shot, trying to land that one shot. That's not going to get him on the inside. There he ate one jab, blocked another.
I mean, that jab of Burrell's it's a good jab. I mean, it's a long jab, it's a stiff jab. You know, I think it's harder to get in than than a lot of people might realize.
Burrell seems to be growing in confidence. The more Perez stays on the outside, the more I see that confidence, that confident look in the eyes of Scott Burrell. Burrell doing a good job. Just that jab on the outside is keeping Perez at bay.
Just needs to follow up that straight right hand down the middle, you know. I think that would start changing the pace of the fight.
That's where Perez wants to hold his ground. Get on the inside and rip those body shots, turn them upstairs. Body head. See, but when he lays on the outside there, he tried to rip a right hand upstairs, but then he pulls back and he gives way too much room away.
Right. He's fighting right at the end of Burrell's jab. It's, you know, a bad place to be.
Too much daylight between them. And referee Mike Ortega gets, you know, again, he's the kind of referee, he lets them work in close. He and the other referee who's got the assignment tonight, Danny Schiavone, both of those guys are excellent world-class refs who allow the fighters to work in close. But once they start grabbing on, you'll see it right now. Grab,
right.
Okay, let them go. Break it up, take a step back. If they were working on the inside, hands-free, punching, see again, they're gonna grab, in comes Mike Ortega. And you got to stay between the fighters. You can't break the fighters up and get behind them. You got to try to stay in that space that I was talking about. It's called the open door. If you happen to watch the ref who's out of camera range right now, there he is in that open door. Perfect.
Right.
That's the open door. That's where a referee wants to be. And as the fighters turn, the referee stays in that open door. That reach advantage of Scotty Burrell, he's using it more and more.
Right.
Hand speed, gets in, gets out, flicks that jab, and even when it doesn't land, Perez is not putting the pressure on.
He's trying to get in, and he's just not doing it. He's just not able to. He's frustrated right now.
Very. Well, I don't have Perez winning any rounds in this fight. He is making it a very competitive fight, but he's not winning the fight.
Right.
He's laying on the outside. He's making Scotty Burrell earn his money tonight. And Scotty Burrell is listening to everything they're saying. And right there, Joseph Perez, they're going to really have to start basically smacking him upside the head, too.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying he's a one-dimensional fighter. I haven't seen enough of him to say that. But tonight, you know, he's trying to get in. It's not working. There has to be something his corner could tell him to do that will actually get him on the inside. I haven't seen him trying to bob and weave in. I mean, he's kind of like moving in such a way where he's always at the end of a punch. I think maybe working in from the side, from an angle, coming in, bobbing and weaving, something like that. Just change it up, because what he's doing, it's not working.
Here we are, round number 5, scheduled for 6, junior welterweights. The man in red, Scotty Burrell, commandingly on my scorecard in the lead against, making it competitive, Joseph Perez, 12-3-2. One of those 3 losses on his record came against the world champion, Jason Sosa. About 3 years ago, Jason Sosa has stopped him in the 4th round. But since that time, Jason Sosa has just absolutely exploded onto the world scene, a world champion now. We congratulate Russell Peltz for his world champion. And now Perez trying to get in close, making a rumble of it. He says, look, I'm not holding on. They told him in the corner, you got to do what you're doing right now, and he's listening. Now he's going back again to doing what he did for the first 4 rounds of the fight.
You got
laying on the outside, Carol.
Yeah, you got to be in great shape to keep coming at a guy like that, Randy. I mean, like, I don't know what his shape is like, what his condition is like, but that's like always, it's always the hardest thing to do is like get in on a guy that has a long reach. You have to be in such great condition, and you know you're a conditioning coach.
You gotta get a lot of sparring rounds in. You gotta do other work in the gym. You gotta get outside. You gotta run those wind sprints. You gotta do everything you can possibly think of. I believe in all the stuff that the MMA guys do, the tire flips,
Right.
and taking the sledgehammers and banging on tires for an hour. I
Right.
believe in all that. It strengthens you. It gives you conditioning. And right now it looks like Joseph Perez, I don't know what is going through his mind, but he is not going to outbox Scotty Burrell. He's backing up even. Then he comes in a little bit, then starts thinking about that jab. That's where he's going to do his best work inside. But once he gets it close, he can't sustain it. Nice double jab there. That is a power jab. It's what I call a shotgun jab when Burrell throws it like
Right,
that.
now he's more confident now. He's throwing it with like, gumption or with conviction. He knows it's landing, he's throwing it hard. It's working for him. He's following up with right hands, left hooks.
Nice right body dig by Burrell. That was his best body shot of the fight. Burrell goes downstairs with the jab, just makes Perez think where the shots are coming.
If I was Perez, I'd try to bait him in at this point. Like, he's not getting in on his own. I'd lean on a rope or something, and just try to get him to come in. And I don't know. I mean, there has to be a way he can get him in. Just, lean on a rope, have him come in, and then fight off the ropes or something, because he's not getting in tonight if he keeps doing what he's doing right now.
Perez puts on the pressure at the bell. Scotty Burrell gets away from it. End of round 5. So there are 3 minutes left for Perez to try to do his thing. And so far, whatever that thing is, hasn't been working because Scotty Burrell has been out boxing him. So that man, Joseph Perez, is going to have to really make a street fight out of it. Action from the last round, Kara.
Throwing that overhand right. He knows he has to knock him out. He knows he's desperate to get in. Throwing those power shots to the body. Burrell covering up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
not really getting hit much when he covers up.
Final round, round number 6 in this one, coming up right now.
There we look into Joseph Perez's corner. This is it.
Let's go, Scotty!
What could they have told him in that corner?
There has to be a plan B. As you know, you're a trainer. Like, you have to have a plan B to resort to if what you're doing for the beginning isn't working. How do you have scored, Randy? Who do you think's winning?
I have given every round to Scotty Burrell. Some of them have been more competitive and close than others,
Right.
but I've given every round to Scotty Burrell.
I gave every round except the first. I think Perez, he had a strong first round because Scotty Burrell, he was tentative.
Headbutt.
Since when he came out at first, Burrell was tentative, so the first round it wasn't. I don't feel like he sealed it. I think Perez won the first round, but the rest of the rounds I do give to Burrell.
Perez was coming in a moment ago and he butted Scotty Burrell. I think Scotty might have taken it around the center of his forehead, and he hurt. But he stepped back and he said, I can't let this get to me. You got to put it out of your, head where you just got butted. Love that jab of Scotty Burrell. This is the best I've seen that jab of his look. Look at those combinations. I mean, they're not landing with authority, but they are landing and they are keeping Joseph Perez at bay. Now Perez has got to throw. This is where he's got to throw. He didn't. He backed up.
I think he's tired at this point. And Burrell, he's doing a nice job of covering up on the inside at this point. I don't think that Perez has much left on his punches.
Nice double left hand. Went to the head, went to the body. Mike Ortega tells him to pick the shots up. One looked like it might have been a little bit low, but Scotty Burrell is fighting with confidence.
Right, he's throwing some nice combinations now. Once he gets confident, you know, he's a nice boxer to watch.
Scotty Burrell's got it going on, offensively and defensively. I mean, unless I'm completely off base here,
No, you're not.
Scotty Burrell is going to win this one either by a shutout or just about every single round. He's out-slugging him. He's out-boxing him. That's where Perez wants to be. If he's going to win the fight, it's going to be on the inside.
He's just tired now. I mean, he took a lot of shots. He did.
45 seconds remain in the fight.
Those jabs, they start, I mean, it's a jab, it's not a power punch, but they start to add up. It's like, you know, water dripping, dripping, dripping. Eventually it's going to make a hole. Those jabs, they add up, they frustrate you. And, you know, it takes a lot out of a guy to get hit with jab after jab after jab.
Scotty Burrell out of Brooklyn, about 20 seconds away from winning his 12th professional fight, at least on my scorecard anyway. And boy, oh boy, if Perez rather, should win this fight, they got to have an immediate rematch. But I don't see it.
No, he's not going to win this fight.
5 seconds remain in the fight. Burrell knows it.
Yeah, he does.
A little showmanship. Come on, Scotty. I don't like when guys do that. He did know that this fight belonged to him, and he knew that there was going to be no knockout, and he started playing around a little bit.
I've been wanting to ask the question the whole fight because, you know, I'm always curious with the weigh-in. Like, that hair, his hair weighs a lot. I remember when I had long hair, I would make them hold. I felt like it was unfair because, you know, every ounce counts. If you weigh in a half a pound over, they make you jump it off. His hair has to weigh a good 3, 4, 5 pounds. I wonder if they take that into account. Seriously. What do you think? Really?
I
it weighs
think so.
a lot. Like, every ounce counts when you're weighing in.
Are you looking at that face of Perez? I mean, Joseph Perez looks like an exhausted, beaten fighter.
Yeah.
That face right there, that is the face of defeat.
No, he's disappointed.
Yeah. He knows he didn't do what he had to do. You know, they cut the gloves of Scotty Burrell off.
You're right. You would never know which guy was fighting. One guy's not feeling good. You know, the other guy, he could send in his replacement. They look just.
And they're unwrapping those gloves. Let's see if when they pull those gloves off, it irks me. A lot of times when I was commissioner, if I see the guys doing it, they yank the glove off the sweaty hands, and they're doing it with him too. I have seen more fighters than you would believe have their shoulders and elbows pulled out of the socket when the guys are yanking on them like that. I hate that. And I'm going to say something. I mean, I know the guys and everything. I'm going to say something. Guys, don't do it.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to do it. They were just cutting his tape. It just drives me crazy.
His arms are his weapons. That's what he makes his money with. You got to, protect them.
I mean, these guys all do such a great job in wrapping the hands and everything like that.
Well, they figure the fight's over. Let's rip the gloves off,
Get those gloves off. Open them up. Cut the laces if you have to. Open the gloves, and then they'll slide off. You don't have to keep them tight and then yank the guy's arm out of his socket. Well, luckily it didn't happen tonight. Both fighters are waiting for the decision. And we have it. Let's see who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Mohegan Sun Arena, after 6 hard-hitting rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. Judge Peter Harry Jr. saw the bout 59-54. Judges Tom Carasone and Don Ackerman saw the bout 60-53. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. From Brooklyn, New York, Scott Bang Bang Burrell.
No surprise there. I had it 60-53. That's exactly how 2 of the judges had it. One of those judges, Don Ackerman from New York, who happens to be the president of the International Boxing Hall of Fame, one of the best fight judges in the world, and he certainly gets the work that he deserves. And a very happy Scott Burrell poses with his team right now. as he virtually pitched a shutout. One of the judges had it a 59, gave Perez 1 round. I did not give Perez any rounds, and Scott Burrell has a lot of fans here tonight, saying hello to them. Cara Castronova stands by with a happy Scott Burrell.
Congratulations on your 13th professional victory. Did you expect that the scorecards would be so much in your favor?
Most definitely. You know, I felt I won every round. I felt I dominated the fight. So, you know, I think the scorecards were accurate.
I noticed that you like to throw the jab a lot. Do you think that your jab is really what determined the outcome of the fight?
Most definitely. You know, I just said to myself coming into the fight, this is basic science. He's a lot shorter than me. I've got longer arms than him. I just got to keep the distance. And the best way to keep the distance with the jab, so I just keep the jab in his face and make my night easy. And that's what happened.
So you stuck to the game plan?
Most definitely. We worked on that for, 4 hard weeks in the gym. That's when we found out about this fight. And I just said to myself, just come out and use the jab. And, I'll stick to the game plan. It was easy work.
Well, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you and your brother on your next fight.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Back to you, Randy.
Nice job, Cara. Well, it was Scotty Burrell, a little tentative in that first round. But then in rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you saw Scotty Burrell. That was the best moment that Perez actually had in the fight. And then after that, it was all Scotty Burrell using that left jab like a surgeon, that left hook, knocking Perez down, winning it by 60-53 scores twice. And one other, he won 5 of the rounds. Scotty Burrell, the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, Slugfest at the Sun action continues with a bout scheduled for 6 rounds in the light heavyweight division. It's all being brought to you by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. The judges for this bout are Tom Carasone, Peter Harry Jr., and Clark Sammartino. Controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee in charge, Michael Ortega. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 175 pounds even. He owns a professional record of 8-1, wearing silver with black this evening, representing East Mauritius, Long Island, New York, by way of Pristina, Albania. He is a 2009 National Golden Gloves champion and a 2008 Olympian. Please welcome Naim, the Albanian warrior, Terbunja. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He also weighed in at 175 pounds even. He owns an undefeated, impressive professional record of 7-0, 4 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Wearing black with red and white, hailing from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, now living, training, and fighting out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Please welcome Joel De La Paz.
Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my command at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Here we go. This one's scheduled for 6 rounds, light heavyweights. Naim Terbunja in the white trunks with the black stripes. And his opponent, Joel De La Paz. Joel De La Paz out of Atlantic City. Naim Terbunja was born in Kosovo, makes his home in Sweden. Right now, lives and trains out on Long Island in a place called Medford. And I had the pleasure of being ringside for Naim Terbunja's last fight, which took place about a month ago on Long Island in one of my favorite venues, the Paramount. And in that fight, Naim Terbunja won an easy 6-round decision. It was his first fight in about 2 years. He had been coming back after surgery.
He fought in the Paramount before that, and he fought Jason Escalera at the Paramount, and he lost that fight. So it was. I remember when he won that fight at the Paramount. That was, I think, a month ago. He was so happy to win that fight in Long Island. You know, he's residing in Long Island now. He's training.
Oh, the undefeated De La Paz hits the deck. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get up. Mike Ortega has waved it off. That is the first knockout in the career of the 8-1 Turbunja, who is not known as being a puncher, but being a short, fast-handed boxer. Very accurate. What a shot!
That was a nice shot, and I mean, his manager did mention that. He said, "Oh, he's a very heavy puncher, and you'll see tonight." And tonight, I didn't think it would happen that fast, though. That came out of nowhere, Randy. He didn't even break a sweat.
Fighters like that. Let's take a look, Karen.
Wow.
Overhand, blistering right hand on the side of the cheek. De La Paz, who had never been through anything like this before. I was about to tell you he's undefeated in 7 fights. He's got 4 knockouts. A blistering overhand right over his low-held left hand. And they embrace. De La Paz just went over to him and said, "Hey, nice job." It certainly was. Well, you couldn't ask for a bigger comeback. I mean, first there was that comeback fight about a month ago where he wins all 6 rounds in it. And just a little while ago, I saw him. He said, "Oh, I feel good. I feel so good." Well, he showed all of us how good he felt. And what's great about this is because now he's not sore, there's no cuts or bruises on him, and he could get right back into the ring again, back into the gym in a couple of days, and he can take a fight. But hey, he can take a fight next week if his management team can do it.
We'll definitely see him. We'll see him on the next Paramount show, I'm sure.
So that man, let's see, the thing that ticks me off a lot. Let's see if they do the thing with his gloves. And they're doing the right thing. They're cutting the gloves off. They're not going to pull his arms out of his socket. And he raises that big right hand.
Mike Murphy's his trainer. He knows what he's doing. He has a great trainer.
Let's make it official. Up to ring announcer Mark Prado.
Ladies and gentlemen, your official time, 1 minute 26 seconds in round number 1. Your winner this evening by knockout from East Mauritius, Long Island and Pristina, Albania, Naim, the Albanian warrior, Turbunja.
Well, Kara Castronova in the ring now, and Naim is basically following her around, ready to be interviewed. Kara stands by.
Congratulations on a spectacular knockout victory. Did you think that the knockout was going to come that fast?
I didn't look for it, to be honest. I fought a fight a month ago. I was rusted. That was my first fight after 2 years. And I've been feeling better for every day. And I've been working a lot on turning my amateur style into a professional style and sitting down on my punches a lot more. So I always knew I had my power. Even this is my first knockout, I always knew I had the power. I just need to, like I said, sit down on my punches, and I did it pretty decent today.
Well, congratulations. It came out of nowhere, and it was a beautiful knockout. Really looking forward to seeing you fight again, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for all the support. I want to thank my team, everybody, for everything, and thank you.
Back to you, Randy.
Nice job, Kara, with Naim Turbunja. Got into the ring tonight against an undefeated fighter, and then this, only seconds into the fight, down went De La Paz. He tried his best to get up. He rolled over, basically fell onto an ear. Veteran Mike Ortega didn't want to see any more, waved it off. Terbuncha, the big winner.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, as he makes his way into the ring, a classically trained tenor who has appeared all across the USA with televised performances on PBS, NBC, ABC, and others. Singing our Star-Spangled Banner to honor America this evening, please welcome Christopher Macchio.
Let's get this down on tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, tenor Christopher Macchio and the New York City Joint Service Color Guard. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again, and welcome to Slugfest at the Sun here at the Mohegan Sun Arena, brought to you by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. Our main event of the evening is scheduled for 10 rounds in the junior middleweight division. The main event is sanctioned by the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. The chairman of Mohegan Tribe is Kevin Brown. The chief of Mohegan Tribe, Lynn Malerba. The supervisors are Michael Mazzulli and Michael Murtha. The judges for the main event this evening, Clark Sammartino, Don Ackerman, and Tom Carasone. Controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee in charge, Danny Chavone. And now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, live from Mohegan Sun Arena, it's our main event of the evening, 10 rounds in the junior middleweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, it's go time at Mohegan Sun. Introducing first, the boxer out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 153.5 pounds. He owns a professional record of 10-1, 5 victories, coming by way of knockout. Wearing black and white this evening, please welcome a U.S. Army veteran, which includes 2 tours of Iraq, from Brooklyn, New York, Sean Killer Cameron. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, boxing out of the red corner. He weighed in at 153.3 pounds. He owns a professional record of 28, 8-4, 16 victories, coming by way of knockout. Wearing blue with red trim and hailing from Santiago de los Caballeros in the Dominican Republic. Now living, training, and fighting out of Danbury, Connecticut. A 3-time world title challenger and former USBA welterweight champion. Please welcome Delvin El Peligro Rodriguez.
All right, fellas, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Keep the bout clean. Touch them up. Go back to your corners. Good luck.
Here we go. 154 pounders in a 10-rounder. Delvin Rodriguez in the blue trunks with the red trim. And Sean Cameron in the black and white. Southpaw against right-hander. And I always point out from the very first round, whenever you have a southpaw against a right-hander, their lead feet are always right in front of each other, stepping on each other. You're going to see guys perhaps score a knockdown in the first round. Sometimes guys fall off balance. Many times when you have a southpaw against a right-hander, there are headbutts because they are leaning in over those feet. Right there, Delvin Rodriguez was worried about headbutt, and he pulled the head of Cameron down.
And if you know Cameron, he has his, like, you know, the classic southpaw way to do is just keep the right foot on the outside of the left of Rodriguez, which he's doing, you know. He knows how to work that advantage, that southpaw advantage.
Cameron, his best punch is a straight left hand. He's got a good right hook. But Delvin Rodriguez, the consummate professional. He has lost, yes, 8 times.
But of course, they were the very notable fighters, like
Right,
you
the
mentioned
ones
before.
I pointed out there are the real notable one. That last one a year ago, Edislandi Lara, who keeps challenging Triple G. That's how good he is. Lara, Miguel Cotto, Austin Trout. So when Lara loses, he loses to the best. And Delvin Rodriguez also loves working to the body, loves throwing left hooks to the body.
As we saw in his fight with Powell Wolak, as you mentioned, it was the fight of the year. It was a great fight.
Oh,
they
my goodness.
really went at it.
Now, they went at it twice. The first time was July 15th, 2011. They came back 5 months later.
That was a nice combination by Delvin.
And the first was a draw. The next one, Delvin Rodriguez won. It was an action fight, but not like the first one. The first one was about as good as a fight can get. The crowd was screaming. That's what Delvin Rodriguez is capable of.
Yeah, and he learns because he came back and he beat him, you know, with pretty much more ease than the first fight. So he learns, which is, you know, it's a lot to say.
But here's what I question. At 36 years old and with 40 fights under his belt and a year layoff, is Delvin Rodriguez tonight going to be the same fighter that we know him to be? A tough, world-class competitor.
Right. And he's up against a guy. This guy's he's good, Cameron. You know, he's an up-and-comer. He's an Iraqi. You know, two tours on Iraq. That right there shows you that he's definitely a tough guy.
No question about it. And Kara, from that first round, it was a little bit more than feeling out.
Right, Cameron, you know, he's coming out strong, wanting to, he wants Rodriguez to know that he's there to fight and to respect his power. Coming in with the lead left hand, like you mentioned before. And Delvin, as you said, loves to go to the body. When he gets close, he will rip to the body. Loves to brawl.
And you saw him not just throw that right hand to the body, but he stepped in as he was throwing it to amplify that punch even more.
Yeah, he has intentions, bad intentions behind those body shots, which is a good thing.
Here we go, round number 2. Our referee in the middle of the ring tells Sean Cameron, get back to your corner. Danny Schiavone is the referee, one of the very best out there. Sean Cameron has lost but one fight, and that one came last November. A decision at the hands of Chris Galliano, who happened to come into the fight with a 9-0 record.
So he's the guy that he's losing to top prospects.
Yep, that's the only loss on Sean Cameron's 10-1 record. 10-1 And in his 10 wins, he's got 5 knockouts. Delvin reaches in with the jab there. He was open for a counter shot. Now he's putting a little bit of speed on that jab. But he's varying the speeds on that jab. He's not just throwing one jab. And in comes Sean Cameron to try to make a brawl out of it. Gets hit with an uppercut, and then he backs off.
Yeah, Delvin Rodriguez with a nice combination right there.
Nice straight left hand to the body. That was a hard shot by Cameron. Cameron stepping in with that right jab. Right-hander against southpaw. I wonder which Delvin Rodriguez will show up tonight.
Still anybody's fight, you know. I think that these are two very technical fighters.
Actually, it was this very arena right here at the Mohegan Sun where Delvin Rodriguez, in this ring, in this room, lost a split decision over 12 rounds for the vacant IBF World Welterweight Championship to a guy by the name of Isaac Clatchueo. The two of them, about a year earlier, had fought to a 12-round draw, and then in their rematch, Delvin fell just a little bit short.
Some nice body work right there by Delvin Rodriguez. He throws a nice hook to the body.
And before we get any further into this fight, the rules here, there is no standing 8 count. There is no 3 knockdown rule. The doctor or the referee can stop the fight. In case of a foul, 4 rounds must be in the books, and there is no saving by the bell, including the final round.
That was a slip.
You know, Delvin got thrown down there, and he took a look at Sean Cameron. He was not happy.
And he landed a nice shot. Cameron, Delvin did before he fell. So he punched him hard, then he fell. You see the ring experience in Delvin Rodriguez. You know, he's in there. It's like almost as if he's just cruising. He like belongs in the ring. He's been doing it for a while now.
Let's take a look at some action from round number 2. There you see, nice body shot by Cameron, but then he took a few shots of his own. Delvin Rodriguez came in and started to make a rumble out of it. There's that left hand to the body by Cameron, who then winds up with the right hand and misses another right hand. Cameron got hit with that one. The two of them were in close, and then Cameron threw Delvin Rodriguez to the canvas. And you wonder, is Delvin Rodriguez going to come out with a lot more fire
You
this
saw that
round?
look he gave him.
Yeah.
Mad. Maybe that woke him up a little.
This is round number 3. We are scheduled for 10. And the commission here at the Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino, the commission is called the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. My friend Mike Mazzulli runs it, and let me tell you, they are doing one sensational job here at the Mohegan Sun. Remember, they're a sovereign nation. They can have their own commission.
Right.
They don't have to answer to the Connecticut Commission.
Well.
So they do a tremendous job here at the Mohegan Sun.
Nice body shots. He just throws that body shot so nice. That left to the body.
Now, there was a shot that might have been a forearm, a head followed by Cameron, because Danny Chivone said something to Cameron. And for a moment, Delvin Rodriguez looked like he might be hurt by the shot. Delvin comes in with a few hard shots, then he backs up. Then he takes a few shots. The Delvin Rodriguez that I've seen very successful is the Delvin Rodriguez who forces his opponent just to fight, just to brawl. Ref tells Cameron, basically relax in there, stop getting wild.
He has the ability to box, though, Delvin Rodriguez. I think it's more he likes to brawl, but I mean, like, his body is that of a boxer, and you know he can if he wants to. He moves to the left so nicely. I like the way he cuts that angle to the left and throws a hook or he throws a jab. You know, he's a nice boxer when he wants to be.
A few nice left hands to the body by Cameron. Sean Cameron then a little bit sloppy in there as they fall into a clinch. Danny Chivon breaks him up. About 30 seconds remain in round number 3. Quite frankly, I see this going the distance, and every round could be very competitive. This could be a very close decision, and here I am saying this in round number 3.
Well, they're both good fighters, and they're both technical. I don't think either guy is going to make any huge mistake, and you know, so what you're saying makes sense.
End of round 3. This is give and take.
You have
Each
a
guy
scorecard
gives,
on
then
this?
they take. Yeah. I gave that last round to Sean Cameron. I have him up. 29 to 28.
So you gave the first round to Rodriguez and the next 2 rounds to Cameron.
Right. And let's take a look at some round 3 action. Nice body shot by Delvin Rodriguez.
He just throws those hooks so nice. It's one of his best punches. The left hook lands nicely on a southpaw. And then as you saw right there, Cameron was throwing that straight down the middle, which is one of his better punches.
We're heading to round number 4. Danny Chivon goes over to Delvin Rodriguez and says something. I'm not sure what he said. There are 3 scoring judges. The referee is a non-scoring official. And Kara was actually in days when you were just a little girl, probably weren't even around at the time.
Thanks.
The referee scored a fight. Do you think a referee should score the fight?
No. Maybe. It's a question that, you know, I've thought about. I spoke to Arthur Mercanti about this actually recently, and they are seeing it from a different viewpoint. And, you know, they have the best view in the house. They're watching it very closely, but, you know.
For the first maybe 60 years of boxing from 1900 up to about 1960, 65, so the referees did score the fights.
Right.
I hated it. And actually, they were still scoring them in New York when I became commissioner. They wanted to, actually, they got rid of it, wanted to bring it back, and I said, no way. Referee has a job to do, let him do the job.
Right, absolutely. That's true. Don't want to distract him from doing his job. You know, someone could get hurt.
Delvin is wearing a look on his face of almost pain. I think some of the body shots have hurt him.
Right.
That shot was low. Then another couple of body shots. Delvin is hurt. And look at that, he jumped in.
He's
He's hurt,
too.
he's angry.
Yeah! I'm sorry. I get excited. I love when guys get crazy.
Well, he got hit with a low shot.
Yeah, so he just...
And Cameron was not admonished for it.
He should have been. Sometimes that gives the guys the fire. You know, Delvin Rodriguez, it's like sometimes he looks like he's like, you know, he's not as energetic as he once was. I think that woke him up a little bit. You know, that emotion, that anger.
Watch the left hand of Cameron. Bang! Again, he's going to keep throwing that left hand to the body. He feels he has Delvin Rodriguez hurt. Watch his left hand. He's going to go upstairs with the right hand, and then he tries to drive the left hand right to the body.
I hope not to see Delvin get reckless, though, at the end, you know, in the rest of this round, because he's mad. And I don't want him running into anything.
45 seconds remain. Round number 4. Delvin Rodriguez just ate a shoulder and just pushed Sean Cameron off of him. This fight getting very physical on the inside.
Yeah, this is one of the better rounds.
Although not a better round for Delvin Rodriguez.
Yeah, better for the audience, I guess, because they're really
Yes.
going at it. Oh, that's a headbutt in there. Delvin is tired, but
Final seconds, round number 4.
that hit was good. Yeah, Delvin got hit a few times at the end of that round. He's tired. Hopefully he can recover, you know, in the middle right now during this round. I mean, he's experienced. He knows he's been there for like how many rounds in his career?
He has boxed a lot of rounds. Let's take a look at some action from round number 4.
Right, throwing the nice shot to the body by Cameron. That's where he's really starting to hurt Delvin Rodriguez, giving him back some of those body shots that he was receiving earlier on. Delvin Rodriguez is just so mad, and he comes at them with that 1-2, you know, that emotion. And Cameron looking shocked, like, what did I do? You know, what did he do? You hit him low. That's what you did. But it's funny. I like watching that.
Very calm, cool, collected. Sean Cameron working on his cut man, working on a little cut over the left eyebrow.
Delvin Rodriguez, he let his emotion get the better of him in that round. You know, he got hit more than he should have because he let his emotion get to the best of him. So hopefully in this round he comes out and he contains it a little bit more. That's what, you know, he needs to do if he wants to, you know, be competitive in this fight.
Big word, emotions. You got to keep your emotions under control, no matter what the other guy is doing to you.
And that's the biggest, that's like, you know, the one of the hardest things in boxing. You know, you make big mistakes when you get emotional.
You get hit with a low shot, maybe the referee doesn't say something, got headbutted, the referee doesn't say something, and then you decide to really take things into your own
Right.
hands, and you lose your
this-
whole fight plan.
Right. That's why I love Mayweather, not to completely go off topic, but he just controls his emotions like you wouldn't, you know, it's great. But Cameron, I mean, he's a very competitive a boxer. I haven't seen much of him, but I'm definitely impressed. I mean, he's a good boxer. He's crafty. He's definitely unorthodox and not an easy fight for anybody.
I'm telling you, Sean Cameron is looking for a body shot knockout. See, he's pounding in the same area, right down the middle of the, right above maybe the V where you see Delvin, right above that V.
Right. Well, it's right. It's that's the opening. That's the southpaw opening. It's right there for him. It's right there for that cross to land.
But it's even more than that, because almost every time he's landed it, Delvin shows a look of pain, and it looks like he's hurt whenever those shots land, like he's not taking those body shots.
Which leads me to believe he must be really hurt because he is. I remember Delvin being really good at keeping a poker face. So if he's showing like he's hurt, he must really be hurt. Because he's really good at playing things off, you could say, like not showing that he's hurt.
Oh, hard right hook. That's more of a
Letting that
slapping
emotion-
hook, but it landed. Delvin taking some solid shots.
What would you tell Delvin right now to do? He definitely has to regain control of his composure.
Try to get him within your punching range. You're letting him step outside of you too much. Use your jab, get in, step in with that right hand. Jab, right hand. Follow it. You're throwing one punch at a time.
Right.
That time he threw the 1-2. There, 2 jabs. And when he does, Cameron keeps those hands up, plays defense. Delvin Rodriguez with a little smile there, but after he missed some punches, about 10 seconds remain. Round number 5. This one's scheduled for 10.
Some nice exchanges in that last round, Randy. What did you give that one to?
I'm going to go with Delvin on that round.
Really?
So, yeah, I thought it was a close round. I thought that Sean Cameron laid back a little bit too much. He was looking for those body shots and didn't really get many of them. And I thought that Delvin did just enough And let's take a look at some action from round 5.
Delvin, I think he got hit more than he should have in this round. Cameron was definitely more aggressive, and Delvin was making more mistakes. I think he had his hands down a lot. As you can see here.
There's some nice work. Both guys. This is where Delvin does his best work, in a firefight.
Right. He loves to be in those exchanges.
Well, earlier I said I expect this one to go to the cards, and here we are. This is round 6, scheduled for 10.
Anything could happen in this one, I think. I think they're very easily could be in some sort of knockout on from either guy.
I think if there is a stoppage, it's going to be Cameron stopping Delvin Rodriguez. Delvin's getting hit with some solid. When he does get hit, a lot of them are solid.
And it's going to be his own demise because he's going to run into it. He's going to get emotional, and that's what's going to knock him out. So it's going to be a counterpunch if it happens. That is.
Taking a little rest there. In comes Cameron.
And the shape, like you mentioned earlier, like Cameron, he's in great shape. You could see it, and what you said earlier, he works hard. It's very obvious that he's in great shape right now. That starts to really count towards. When you get to this point in the fight.
Nice left hand from Cameron. He wants that fight on the outside, because when he does get on the inside, the firefight more or less belongs to the veteran Delvin Rodriguez, who asked about rounds before. Delvin Rodriguez has fought 246 rounds as a pro, not counting tonight, to just 47 rounds for Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron knows, a win against someone like Delvin Rodriguez is going to really bring him to the next level. That'll open doors for bigger fights for him, because Delvin Rodriguez does have a name. Cameron is new, he's new to the game.
Well, Sean Cameron, not a baby. He's
not a baby.
33 years young to 36 for Delvin Rodriguez.
Just not as much experience. I guess when, I guess being in Iraq is kind of experience, fight experience, you could say. Mental training. That was.
Crushing left hand!
Oh, no.
A short, crushing left hand. Let's see what kind of shape Delvin Rodriguez is in and what Sean Cameron does with it.
It's like what you said.
About 40 seconds remain in the round.
Let's see if Cameron has that killer instinct to finish it. He has to really come at him now. You can't let him escape this 30 seconds.
Remember, Delvin Rodriguez does not back away from a firefight.
Yeah, but he needs to put his hands up right now, shell up, because he can't be getting hit. He needs to recover.
But he's wobbling.
He's dazed. Delvin Rodriguez is dazed right now. Cameron should be on him right now. I'm sorry. He needs to get on him if he wants to. He could have won this fight in this round. He let that. Oh. There you go.
Okay. On the scorecards, that was a big one. That was a 10-8 round. So if Sean Cameron was starting to pull away, that one did it for him. And Carol, let's see the punch that did it.
Yeah, well, that was a nice shot. That probably started it off. And then, let's see.
A blistering.
Blasted him. Wow. Then that didn't knock him down. He could take a shot.
But then there was another one, that short left hand.
It's weird because that wasn't a shot that knocked him down. I think it was a reaction from the shot prior. That wasn't.
Ref said that was a push and look. That was a slapping shot.
So what did the ref say? The ref called that a knockdown. But I don't think it was a knockdown. It wasn't.
You know what? They didn't call it a knockdown. I thought from this angle where we're watching it that it was a knockdown. And I thought Danny Schiavone was giving it. You know what? He was not in good shape when he got up.
Because that was that shot from earlier. He was still dazed about 5-10 seconds early. Got hit with that straight cross. It was bad.
Delvin Rodriguez's eyes look clear.
Hopefully he had time to recover in that corner.
One thing you always do when the referee is taking a look at Delvin Rodriguez, you can see as he maneuvers into position, he just stares into the eyes of Delvin Rodriguez, who has taken some very hard shots tonight and falling, I think, almost hopelessly behind on the scorecards.
Oh,
nice right hand by Delvin.
This is a good fight, Randy.
It is a competitive fight, but that's how Delvin Rodriguez fights. He makes you work to beat him.
Nice hooks.
You know, Sean Cameron can kind of play act a little bit, but he's getting hit with some shots. This is a good round so far for Delvin Rodriguez.
Nice counter punches by Delvin Rodriguez.
Cameron kind of just reaching in with those shots. There's that straight left hand to the body again that we've been talking about. Delvin marches him down, right hand upstairs, left hand down.
Nice, man. That, you know, did he call it a low blow? No, he didn't call it.
Yeah.
But he did. But he didn't give him a point.
Cameron said, hey, come on, it was low. The referee saw that and ref said, come on, get it up. Nice right hand by Delvin.
This is a good round. Better round for Delvin than the last one, that's for sure.
Got a right jab by Cameron. Left hand doesn't get in all the way. Then a little twirling of that left hand. Is he going to throw it?
Busy round for Delvin Rodriguez. He just keeps that lead arm down, you know.
Right hand, very nice by Delvin. Then he comes back with a left hook. This is the best round of the fight for Delvin Rodriguez.
Yeah, and it came right after that nasty knockdown. Well, the punch that led to the knockdown. Definitely, both these guys got a lot of heart. Delvin Rodriguez is a lot of heart, and he just keeps fighting. The more he gets hit, the more he wants to fight.
Here comes Cameron, but not real successful with those shots. I thought that it was a nice round, maybe the best round of the fight.
It was a nice round.
Delvin Rodriguez certainly needed that to get himself back into this fight.
Definitely showing a lot of character. I mean, he came off a really bad round and just won that round. You know, he was busy. He looked good in that round. I think it shows a lot of character.
One of our star boxing round card girls at a very nice arena here at the Mohegan Sun in Umptonsville, Connecticut. And Karen, there was a low blow. It wasn't a terrible low blow, but let's take a look at it. It was in a combination upstairs, right hand, downstairs.
It was on the borderline there.
A grazing shot.
Right. You know, but Cameron, he played it to the ref, and the ref took note.
And round number 8 is underway. This one is scheduled for 10. Seven rounds in the books. I have given 3 to Delvin Rodriguez. I've given 4 to Sean Cameron. Delvin doing what he does so well, just digging down. He's got skill. He's got punching power. He's got much more heart than anything else.
Right. It's like you wonder where the energy comes from, and it just comes along. You know, he gets hit, then he hits back. It's just the more he gets hit, the more he wants to hit you, which just shows he has a lot of heart. Cameron has a lot of heart too. Both of these guys are fighting hard. They're both looking to win. They both want to win. Neither one of these guys has come here to lose tonight.
looks it could be a draw, but let's see what happens if Delvin Rodriguez can dig down and steam back here in the 8th, and then if there's a 9th and a 10th. Sean Cameron looks like there's a gas tank shortage there.
Yeah.
He's moving a little bit. The legs still show a little bit of bounce, but he is not throwing as many punches as he did before, and he's not throwing them with the same authority or speed.
And you hear his corner. They're saying, "You got to move, Cam. You got to move, Cam. You got to get in." They're yelling at him to pick up the energy, to pick up the pace. It's easier said than done. I mean, he's tired.
Yeah. Oh, they trade shots there. Nice left hand by Delvin Rodriguez. Nice double jab by Rodriguez.
And it's hard to land a jab on a southpaw. It really is. And the fact that he's landing them on Cameron is impressive, because usually when you fight in the southpaw, it's easier to land that straight cross. But he is landing a lot of jabs.
Sean Cameron keeps coming back over and over again with that left hand. But I think he's leaving himself open to a counter right hand. And I think Delvin Rodriguez sees it. Final moments, round number 8. But I think Sean Cameron has let Delvin Rodriguez back into this fight.
Yeah, well, for sure. That was a nice body shot, man, by Rodriguez. You know, I think that was a window of opportunity missed. There was that 30 seconds at the end of that round when Delvin went down, even though it wasn't technically a knockdown. He was hurt, and if he would have jumped on him, he could have stopped the fight in that round if he just.
Okay, early in that round. Now, what was this? I mean, was this a thumb? Was that just a sharp jab?
I mean, like Cameron again, he's saying it's a thumb in the eye. I don't know. I think it was. What do you think? It's kind of hard to say.
It's very, very tough to purposely thumb a guy with the type of gloves that are around today. You can still get caught with the thumb, but not like years ago when the thumb was unattached. And you could actually stick your thumb, as former welterweight champ back in the 40s, Fritzy Zivik, they used to call it, his nickname was Thumbs. Hey, Larry Holmes told me he was not against doing that. He said, sometimes, you know what?
You got to do what you got to do. You got to do it. I would.
You throw a jab with an open fist, and it's so fast you can't even see it.
When you throw a hook with the elbow behind it, you know, that's what it is. It's professional boxing.
And it's round number 9, Kara. Randy G along with Kara Castronova here at the Slugfest at the Sun, so appropriately named.
Definitely appropriate.
And on my scorecard, after 8, this is even. Who wants it more? Who's going to get it? Who's going to take it? Delvin Rodriguez in the blue and red. Sean Cameron.
Oh, he looks like, what was that at? Some sort of
is that an elbow?
What happened there?
And Danny Schiavone is going to give Delvin Rodriguez a few moments. Now, I don't know if that was an elbow. It's funny because Sean Cameron's back was to me, and I didn't see whether that was a head.
He gets mad. He's an emotional fighter.
But you notice that whenever one of these things happen, a low blow, a headbutt, an elbow, Delvin really,
he comes out flying. If I was the other guy, I'd be waiting with the counter punch, you know. I know I would expect him to come out mad every time. It's kind of an endearing thing, but it's at the same time, you know, he has to check his emotions.
Delvin working very hard, using that jab overtime, gets hit with a counter right hand. Nice right hand by Delvin.
This is a hard fight to score, I think, you know. I think
it's going to be
they're very close rounds.
A little under 1 minute to go here in round number 9, scheduled for 10. Delvin Rodriguez, Sean Cameron. In what has been an excellent junior middleweight contest.
Delvin Rodriguez definitely showing his experience here. You know, he's been through so many rounds. It's like Cameron is definitely showing that he's tired and he doesn't have much left on the power behind his body shots.
Sean trying to step on the gas a little bit. Let's see what they've got left for the 10th and final round. Seconds remain in the 9th round. Let's see what the 10th round brings.
Ooh, that was a nice shot at the end by Delvin Rodriguez. Still a close fight. You know, I think it's like,
Okay. Was it an elbow? Was it a headbutt? Let's take a look. You decide. Let's see what it is. Right hand, and then the heads collide.
Yeah, it was a headbutt. And then he hit him like after that, like.
No question.
Yeah.
Looked like a billy goat.
Right. That must have hurt. That was right. That was right up the nose, like on the mouth. It just.
I just can't believe there was not a cut that emanated from that headbutt.
You know, and the ref gave him time to recoup, and he didn't take as much time as he could have. He should have, but he didn't.
This is another one of those fights. Both guys are going to love the feel of ice on their face after the battle.
Right now.
Here we go. 10th and final round. Let's see what each man brings to these 3 minutes, to these 180 seconds. I gave Delvin Rodriguez that last round. I've got him up by a point. Let's see what happens. What will Sean Cameron bring? What will Delvin bring? Delvin keeping it in ring center. Sticks out that jab. Didn't stick it out, snapped it out. And again. Sean Cameron trying to get inside, trying to get that left hand home.
He fights pretty well backing up Delvin Rodriguez. He's a nice counterpuncher. You know, you think you got him, you come after him, he has his hands down, then all of a sudden he counters you. Takes you by surprise.
Nice combination by Delvin Rodriguez. Worked up and down.
I mean, if the question is who wants it more in this round, it's Delvin Rodriguez.
Just past the midpoint of the final round.
Yeah,
nice shot, 1-2 by Delvin Rodriguez, and in comes Cameron.
He needs to throw some more of those 1-2s. Nice triple hook.
Oh, they just go at each other. They both land. Delvin Rodriguez out of Danbury, Connecticut. Sean Cameron out of Brooklyn, New York. That jab of Delvin Rodriguez working overtime.
Oh, and that nice hook, that nice check hook. Comes from that weird angle.
Heading down to 30 seconds to go. Let's see what each guy does now. You got to be thinking the round's close. You got to be thinking the fight's close. 20 seconds.
Cameron's actually, you know, he's in a bit of survival mode now.
They mix it up. There is a real lump over the left eye of Sean Cameron, courtesy of a lot of right hands. Final seconds of the fight. What a fight this has been.
Wow.
Big finish by Delvin Delvin Rodriguez at the bell.
Oh, that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful end of the rounds. I wish that he did that at the end of every round, you know. But, you know, it's easier said than done. It takes a lot of energy. You save it for the last few seconds.
What a fight you have just watched, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. I'm giving it to Rodriguez. Randy, what are you? Who are you giving it to?
I'm adding the scorecard. Yes, Rodriguez does win on my card. 96-94. Let's see how the judges have it, including one of the very best judges on this planet, Don Ackerman. A man I have long thought was one of the very best, and he just proves it over and over again. So let's see how he has it. Oh, look at the face of Sean Cameron, that left eye, reddened, puffy, swollen. They're holding the N-Swell device on it, filled with ice. They got to really push on that. They can't just hold it there, because that eye will shut. And one thing he cannot do, you've got to tell your fighter, do not blow your nose. If you just feel that you have to blow your nose, do not do it. One blow of the nose will absolutely shut that eye. So I hope he doesn't blow the nose, and they got to keep that pressure on with the ice and with the cold. Delvin Rodriguez walking around in his corner, face a little bit reddened. Oh, I am looking forward to seeing the scores here. Mark Fratto has them. He's taken a look at them. Well, let's see how Mark Fratto has it. And let's go up to him and make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 outstanding action-packed rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. Judges Don Ackerman and Tom Carasone saw the bout 96-94. Judge Clark Sammartino saw the bout 97-93. All three judges in favor of your winner by unanimous decision from the Dominican Republic and Danbury, Connecticut, Delvin El Peligro Rodriguez.
Well, my scorecard had it, I'm proud to say, 96-94 for Delvin Rodriguez. Two of the judges had it 96-94, exactly the way I did. Another judge had it 97-93 for Delvin Rodriguez. Here is some final round action. Look at that. I mean, Delvin Rodriguez just wanted at Sean Cameron. This one was hotly contested all the way. If there was any round where there wasn't action, it maybe was the first round, and from there it picked up. I'm putting this on my list of fights of the year. 9 consecutive rounds of junior middleweight action. For everybody at Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing and our entire team, thanks for watching, everybody.
Congratulations, that was a really hard-won victory. You showed a lot of heart. There was a point in the middle of the fight where it seemed like you were a little bit hurt. What did you have to tell yourself, you know, when you went back to your corner to come back into that next round and fight so hard?
No, you know, I got to give props to Cameron. He's a very tough fighter. He took a good punch to the body and to the head, so I think people got to give him an applause. He's a tough guy, but, you know, I never really felt hurt. You know, it was like the first hard punch that I received from him, so I just, you know, shook it off a little bit, but hurt, no, never.
ever heard. I have a question. Whenever he did something like you felt like you got a low blow or a headbutt, you always react very emotionally. Do you think that's a good thing that you do, or something that could get you in trouble in the future?
Well, I think as long as I don't hit him back, if he hit me low or hit me back in the neck, as long as I don't hit him low and retaliate, I think it's a good thing. If somebody, the way you got to think, if a fighter hits you one time, you want to hit him 2 times or 3 times.
Congratulations. I really enjoyed watching that. It was a great fight. You looked great.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thanks to all my fans who always supported me. Denver, Connecticut always supported me no matter what. Lose, win, or draw. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Back to you, Randy.